My name is Chris Spags, and last week I went on an 8-hour DraftKings Best Ball Draft binge. You could say I might have had enough last week, but no, I'm not smart enough to give up on DraftKings. $1 million to first place. I'm already in a draft room. Let us strap in for a few more drafts today. I'm thinking it'll be about 3 drafts we will hit on DraftKings. This is draft number 140 for me. I have number 141 coming up, number 142. I guess I don't need to mark that on the banner. You guys get the deal here. But only 7 days left to NFL kickoff. So let's make it count, guys. Let's build some great teams, even on DraftKings. Shout out to the chat as well. Saw some people waiting around, which I appreciate a bunch. The guy Spurious News in here early. Kelsey Beers, so hoping I can answer her questions when we do spark up later on in the draft today, because that's the 420 draft promise you're going to get today on the Splash Play channel. Need an edible. Yeah, there we go. Look, get on board, guys. Get on board with the Squirt Squad, and of course, the Edible Squad would also be appreciated here. I am picking once again in the 12-hole. DraftKings lately has just been licking their pinky and jamming it in my ear every time I'm getting a randomly number-generated pick for myself. Would like to get some 101s down the home stretch. Wouldn't mind some 102s. Have gotten a few Jamar Chases at 104s for myself, but no, it's back going to be the 12 holes. So hopefully we will get maybe an Amon-Ra St. Brown. Had Devontae Adams go to me at 22 in a draft. I did on DraftKings earlier today, so a lot's fun to be had there. Of course, no promo code to draft on DraftKings, but if you are looking for some sites to draft on, I would recommend drafting on Drafters, where the overlay will probably pay off pretty big time for you if you use the promo code SPLASH. $100 deposit match on Drafters. That tournament right now is about 50% filled. Probably has another 40,000 entries to break even, so a good shot having overlay on that one. And of course, Underdog, our beloved golden child there. Use the promo code SplashWall Underdog to double your deposit up to $100. And on DraftKings, just again, pinky, ear, get ready to deal with that as we get sniped over and over again. Got Short Gamer in this draft. Not recognize any other names. Of course, you guys have got a chance to draft me coming up in these next 2 drafts after this one. We will see what we're going to get back. Again, it is DraftKings. Sometimes weird things happen. You could see Cooper Kupp falling to Short Gamer. He was not going to let Cooper Kupp go any further than that, which makes sense, of course, for a sharp guy like Short Gamer is. AJ Brown goes. Yeah, nothing too fun going to fall to me on this first portion of the draft. We'll see. Nick Chubb, of course, one of the few first-round running backs on the turn I'm willing to take. He and Bijan are those guys I've identified. It's only Pollard you can make the case I should be heavier on, but I'm not. Stop me if you've heard this one before, guys. I'm going to do the CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown start here. Just a build that I'm getting a lot of. Of course, the Week 17 correlation is there for CeeDee Lamb and Amon-Ra St. Brown, so that helps it out. But also 2 guys that I think if you are going to try to take Dallas at face value and believe that they can be an improved team this year, despite losing their genius young boy offensive coordinator, going instead of Brian Schottenheimer there, and Mike McCarthy, of course, the illustrious Mike McCarthy calling plays. Maybe CeeDee Lamb can get there again. I have my questions about it, as I've talked about a lot this offseason. Let's see. Want to watch Lulz, but going to wait till I get home later tonight. There we go. And how many left do I have to do? So this is going to be, again, number 140 for me. So 10 more after this. And then on Underdog, I believe I have the same thing. So as I mentioned, not going to stream tomorrow. Going to give our guy Pete Overs at the floor as he closes out his 150 stream drafts. But Saturday morning, I believe at 10 a.m. will be the start time. I'll be doing my last 3 Spag stacks. And then we're going to see how this tournament fills for Best Ball Mania 4, because I would like to stream my last 150th draft as well. But not sure how that's going to time out. Might have to jam the entries in last minute if the tournaments start to fill really heavy this weekend. But I did see our guy Tom Strachan talk about on social media that he believes that the Best Ball Mania should fill by Monday or Tuesday. And in DraftKings, he expects they and drafters to provide some promos this weekend to try to get people in both those tournaments. So something to keep in mind if you're trying to balance your stuff out. It is a spectacular day for a DK draft. I don't know what I would do without these Thursday DraftKings drafts that have proven to be such joy for me. We make new friends. We make new enemies. We troll the fantasy flock and make really insulting comments about that guy who really just said one mean thing to us over DM once, but never forgive, never forget. This board, though, of course, trucking along. Nothing too shocking here. I guess Calvin Ridley going at the 2-8 ahead of Chris Olave. Not surprising to me to see on DraftKings, but certainly something to note that the Calvin Ridley public love has not faded. If anything, it's only grown stronger as we've gone here. So nice little fall for Jalen Waddle, for T. Woods in the 1 hole. Good for him. Jalen Waddle at the turn feels like free money. Love that spot. The Waddle Allen start, iffy on. Obviously, we all know we should reach for Christian Watson if you get Justin Jefferson in the one hole, but we'll see how T Woods handles the rest of that. The overlay on Drafters is pretty crazy still. Yeah. I mean, look, it's going to overlay. We're doing the best we can to drive some subs. I'm very appreciative of everybody who signed up for Drafters. Actually, heard a lot of positive remarks from people in the chat, which, again, same thing. I was really won over by playing on that site. And I think I would put it ahead of DraftKings in terms of the pure draft experience. Obviously going to be more money on DraftKings, but the overlay combined with still $300K to first place in the Drafters Million, I think makes it pretty hard to ignore. And as I mentioned before, you can use that promo code, but also Splash 100. If you are a former sign up at Drafters, they'll match your deposit 20% up to $500. So a good deal if you are a redepositor with the promo code Splash 100 too. And again, supporting the show, great, but honestly, do it for your bankroll as much as anything. And Drafters is a fun site. No playoffs. Always a positive thing to not have to worry about your advance rate. Not to see the dick measuring on social media about your Drafters advance rate. That won't be the case, though. It will be for Underdog. I can promise you that. What did Mason say? Oh, no, he just tried to, he sent us a DM once many blue moons ago before I think Pete had met him in person. And basically was like, oh, I heard you guys are making fun of me. Do we have a problem here? Hope that we can hash it out face to face. And this is me summarizing. I'm probably making it sound worse than it was, but definitely had an attitude to it where, look, I've been online for a minute. I've been a content creator since the mid 2000s. I've been doing this for a long enough time to know when someone's trying to turf you out, but whatever. Maybe he can. He's converting way more Underdog subs than I do. So a lot more deposits coming for people. The guy who loves running backs than the guy who rants about running backs are falling apart. The sky is falling. Sean Alexander's not walking through that door. That's probably not converting the casuals as well as old Mace is. Mace needs a Puff Daddy. If he had a Puff Daddy on his stream or a guy that he just called Puff Daddy, I think I'd be back in. I'd be willing to give him a second chance. Let's see what we're going to do here. Obviously, would not mind to go full 0 RB. Also would not mind hacking on the DJ Moore Justin Fields start that I feel like I did, if not on stream recently on DraftKings. And yeah, fuck it. Let's just lock it down. Do want to get some more Justin Fields and DJ Moore, as I've mentioned. Now the price at ADP is in line for me to feel comfortable about that. So team so far, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, DJ Moore. Would be nice if we can get a Drake London on the way back to correlate for week 17 with Chicago as well, because I'm in that matchy week 17 kind of state of mind these days. But I think this start for me feels pretty good. Getting elite QB in, going behind Joe Burrow, which is batshit. Justin Fields, I think, outscores Joe Burrow 9 times out of 10 just with the rushing ability. But still, again, happy with this pick. Chalk start, not good. How am I going to fix it? Oh, probably by taking Trey Palmer in the 20th or whatever dumb shit I do. That's not, that's not chalky. But yes, chalk start, whatever. These are the guys that I think make sense here. And again, Moore and Fields, to me, it's an undervalued duo. As I've mentioned countless times here, but I know we get new people in every stream, so I'll always keep repeating these points that I think actually do matter. Justin Fields, DJ Moore, so connected. Scissoring like the acclaimed. So connected, though, where basically if Fields is an above average passer, I forgot. In case you've forgotten, I do, in fact, know ball, specifically degree branded football. Justin Fields and DJ Moore. Fields is an average passer. It means that Moore is probably having a year that can justify his ADP. If Moore is having a year that can justify his ADP, it probably means that Fields has advanced as a passer to be at least league average. So I'm happy with the chalk start for that one. Yeah, scissor me daddy ass. Scissor me daddy ass. If you guys don't follow wrestling, you're going to be really confused by hearing that one out of context, even on Splash Play, where so many things are out of context. I was actually playing around with trying to figure out how to use the AI software out there to make shorts, because I think I need to go back to making YouTube shorts, which I hate. I hate the business of that, but I have to start doing again for football season. And one of the things that I was looking at was me doing the Southern Belle impression the other day with our guy, because one of the guys in our draft room, our guy KG, had said he ate Chick-fil-A for lunch, and he sniped me on Sam Laporta. Of course, that spins me off into thinking that he's a Southern Belle who's overcome with the vapors from having Chick-fil-A sauce, and that's why he needed to draft Sam Laporta. Point being, I was going to do a short with that one, and I was like, why am I going to put this out? I don't want this to be the first short that I do. But good to test it out all the same. So at some point, you will get Splash Play YouTube shorts. Hopefully she's not actually dead, right? Because I know she did leave WWE recently. I heard Jerry was in Peach chat saying, thanks for the $25 donation, which is such a classic Jerry chat. But shout out to all the Jerry spies out there who immediately notified me about that one. Our boy Jerry lurking around. We became best friends, and now where'd he go? He left me. He left me once again. Left me at the altar. Altar of drafting Dalvin Cook. Of course, we're now 10 minutes in draft, so there will be a special surprise that I already hinted at earlier on coming up for the last draft here. We're going to do 3 drafts today. And of course, this has been one that the fans of the show have wanted me to do for a while. And we will, if you know, you know. And if you don't know, then you'll find out. Drake London goes at 5'3". We'll not be getting him for that sweet, sweet correlation with Chicago. We can get Algier later. Maybe we'll get Kyle Pitts to fall at a reasonable ADP. Kyle Pitts, by the way, on DraftKings, I've seen go in the 90s recently. So that's something that's pretty crazy. There we go. I appreciate it. Support the Spags. Yes, thumbs up, footballs up, hit the like button, all that stuff here. Again, I'm excited, man. This has been fun. I've made a commitment in August to do 5 days a week of drafts. August is the longest month of the year, it feels like, but have lived up to that so far, in addition to all the drafts that, of course, I've done by myself, that I've done with my podcast partner, Pete Overzet, that I've done with various friends around the industry. Of course, check out the fantasy live stream I did with Ian Hardage. Check out Neil Orfield. But this is really like the end of the line. Like, it does make me feel sad. Even if I've only been, if me a caveman, if me only been drafting since August every day. But 5 days a week of drafts has felt like a job in a way that's been very fulfilling. And we are on the clock. So I'll stop waxing poetic. And we could do another little correlation again if we want. But I think Dameon Pierce at this range is okay. He's come up a little bit much, but I will add him as a guy that I do think I've had a little bit of a blind spot to, and I think the preseason has given him enough positive steam to feel good about. And Kittle, I'd rather have Dotson, I think, out of this group. Gabe, if I have Josh Allen, I'd be a little more inclined to go Gabe here. Dotson probably a bit undervalued overall this offseason. Terry McLaurin, though, is day-to-day, so I don't expect Dotson to get much contingent value unless that toe injury reoccurs, which I think is part of why people are scared about McLaurin. But I'm happy to buy the McLaurin dip for the most part. I've just honestly been buying it too much, so that's why I'm going to go Dotson here. Are going to continue the lives once the season starts. I don't think I want to go back to pre-recorded stuff. I think the strength of Splash Play, and you guys may disagree, because I know that a lot of people did enjoy the short form, edited showdown videos and all of that, where I kept it basically like 10 minutes or so. I think the strength of Splash Play is the community and the chat and all that stuff, especially when we have like live streams where we're not competing against 20 other best ball streams and other shows. So I'm going to try to keep it mostly live here if we can, but I reserve the right to have to do some pre-edited stuff if I think it would work better. But I would like to figure it out. Like stuff like rankings, I think is hard to do live, but I do want to do rankings this year. So we'll see. It's going to be, again, as it is on Splash Play, by the seat of its pants. And also Pete and I have to figure out what we're doing together too. So that's a part that we're not going to figure out until he's back from Vegas. So we shall see. We shall see. Keep it live. All right. I try. It's just tough. Like there's a reason people edit stuff and pre-record is you tighten it up, you tighten up your language a little bit more. I certainly have some extra words. I've few too many few too many likes and all that stuff that I'll say in my word choice. So it's nice to have the editing then, because then you're tight, on a script for the most part. We'll survive. We'll survive. Live red zone watch parties. I don't know if I can commit. Sundays are my day to usually pawn off Luca on my wife and then try to watch the games and go I got to do this afternoon slate too. I got a show in the morning. Got to do lineups. Have to do the afternoon slate, and then I get a little breathing room. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm not a big Sunday content creator, though, generally. I will this weekend, though, if I have to. If I have to go twice live on Labor Day weekend, I'm going to do it because I got to max out these things on stream whenever they need to hit. But, of course, Saturday morning, though, for sure. That'll be the Spag Stacks finale. Another sad ending. No Spags, stop making Kyle Pitts a thing. He sucks. I'm not making him a thing. I said you could take him in the 90s. I think it's the opposite of making him a thing. I've actually not been very high on Kyle Pitts this offseason. I think certainly an okay bet to make if you are trying to get the full Atlanta stack here and there, but not a guy I want to be over the field on personally quite as much. I just don't think they're going to pass it so much more volume, and I do think Drake London deserves probably 7-9 targets a game. Hard for me to imagine that offense throwing enough, I think, to sustain both of Pitts and London meaningfully, unless you're playing a build that says that the Falcons are going to sustain that offense. So I've been low on Pitts for that reason. Nothing's a losing pick, Larry. It's all about the overall construction and surviving your pods. It's just, again, I've said it so many times. It's just a 16-week war of attrition. What can you bring into week 17? What fucking limping into the finals kind of team do you have there? And do you have enough to get over the hump? And last year with Cincinnati Buffalo killing me, I got stuck at 200, but I built a team that had enough guys still going, had enough guys scoring points that mattered, again, receivers in particular, but also hit on some late running backs. So I don't view it as like any one player is going to kill you, unless that player's opportunity cost around him. But with the wide band of where like a Kyle Pitts in particular goes, there's nowhere where he's going to really kill you, unless, I don't know, Pittman now beats him heavily. But even still, it's probably not enough. Larry is a little bit of a negative Nancy. Larry, I know it's been part of the issue. Our pal Pete is, I think, grew a little weary of old Larry because of his negativity, but it's okay. Larry is fine by me. I'll give him the cosign here, even though it does sound a little bit Debbie Downery. So you don't want us all to be telling you every Sunday how their advance rates are going. That is true. I'm not looking forward to advance rate talk, though I did mention the other day on stream, I did have a dream that I advanced 50% of my teams at Best Ball Mania and was like, just, I'm the most correct of everyone. Even though I absolutely think, and I said it last year, ended up being true, my advance rate was a little bit under average. I wasn't happy about it. But I did kind of get why it would be, given the running backs I made bets on. I didn't go 6 running backs as often as I did 5 in my 0 RB builds. That was not the smartest. But overall, it's then about what can you advance to the finals. And I was lucky enough to get 2 on DK, 1 on underdog. And that's the whole thing. It's just you want to have shots at the finals. So it doesn't really matter what the journey is to get there. I think as long as you build a solid construction, like you're keeping yourself live to do it as best you can, hopefully. Had near 0 Jacobs last year and still had 2 DK finalists. There you go. I had some Jacobs, but I don't believe, I don't fully remember my DK teams because they were such a busto because of Jalen Hurts on one of them. Tua, I think, was the QB on the other. Just was a terrible configuration. I adjusted Jefferson too on one of them, and he had that dog shit week 17 that he gave me on both underdog and DraftKings. But yeah, I think on DraftKings in particular, you can really escape with really mediocre teams that if they're decently constructed, they might pop up, especially this year. I honestly think the drafts on DraftKings this year have been even softer. I don't know why, but I think it has been the case. Or coming up here for a pick. Oh, good. Look who's on the board. Kyle Pitts. And again, Kyle Pitts, pick 84. I'm okay with it. Let's put him in the queue. Let's figure this out. So we have Fields, Dameon Pierce, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, DJ Moore, Jahan Dotson. So a Niner would make sense here if we're trying to do full matchy. But we're not going to do that. So let's clock out on Kyle Pitts. This one's for Larry. And then I guess Herbert makes sense here. Am more of a Roshan believer. Nice little, not even that nice of a value on Sanders. Would everybody in this spot take Khalil Herbert? I feel like they would. Let's get less chalky and take Sanders and then try to get Roshan later. So the team so far, Justin Fields, Dameon Pierce, Miles Sanders, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, DJ Moore, Kyle Pitts, and Jahan Dotson. I think it's a solid start. Again, who could argue with Kyle Pitts? That range. Who could argue? Oh, I'm sorry. I like Montgomery, but I think Miles has been going more expensive all offseason, so I'd rather take Miles. But I get why people go Montgomery. I think they're probably closer than the markets have had him all offseason, so that's fair. No wrong take, I think, by people saying Montgomery. Are there any screenshots or roster deconstruction out there on last year's DK Millionare or even data on the finalist teams? Everything I'm seeing is for 2 years ago. I honestly don't know if anybody's done content around that. It's so hard to find things in your DraftKings history where I don't even know how you could find it because they time everything out now, especially if you played any DFS slates after. So I don't even know how I would find it, but maybe the Spike Week guys did something. It feels like, or maybe RotoViz. I would check those two first. I feel like they might've done a stream. Most likely to have done a stream about DK winners. I think would be those guys. Missed making one team to finals on DK by under 7 points. I had Brady as my QB3. I had one that was like a really good team that did make the finals by literally 1 point. And that was really tilting. I feel like it was a Burrow double, which actually maybe that wouldn't have been that good. But I might be mistaking that. But I had one team where I was like, this team is fucking loaded and everything aligned. And just like the other team had the nuts. Like I had like 212 or 220 or something. And the other guy had like 221. Just like, fuck, we both had really good scores. So hard to be mad at it. Like that's just, again, that's the pod luck. You could also end up in a pod where the top scorer is at 150 because everybody else's teams are hurt or just they don't go off that week. So I think that's the one thing for sure for me. Like again, last year having really maxed out everything in best ball for the first time. I think the thing that surprised me the most was like how much the pods matter and also just how many shitty teams are out there that kind of die, your own included. You don't expect them to. I'll be floored just to have another finalist. The doubling in costs screwed me, so I can't afford to max it. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I certainly always advocate for playing within your bankroll. I will personally be disappointed if I don't get a finalist, but I do know last year, a lot of sharp players out there didn't get a finalist either. And maybe I got lucky there, maxing my first one out and getting a finalist in. I don't know. But I think, my hope is that the process here that you guys have seen live on stream every day for, again, since January is when I started looking at the rookies. So this has been the entire calendar year. I have to hope that gives me enough of an edge to get one across, but it is going to be dumb luck. You can build really great teams, and then I run into the one team that hits 3 running backs early correctly, and I'm fucked. Could be absolutely the case. Any good NFL seasonal picks? Bryce Young under 22 TDs pass seems good under. I'm not tracking any of the season-long futures yet. I would obviously take an AR over for most things, especially rushing yards. I'd take passing yards on him too, though that prop line's a little bit high. But I'm not that deep in the woods. Like, I'll do the week-to-week stuff. Actually do have some fun stuff coming up with Probably, where we will be live before next week, and then looks like we'll be giving the wait list, the demo, the MVP version of the app on the Probably domain this weekend. So if you are on the wait list for Probly, good for you. If you're not, go on in at probablyapp.com. And actually, at some point in the stream, I'll show you guys the overlay that I've built for Probly that I think is pretty sick. Maybe after my turn, I'll show you guys, because I'm really excited about it. I think it's really cool the way that it looks, because it is a mobile forward product. So putting it on stream was kind of a challenge, but I've thought about it and figured it out. I see bittersweet. Draft season ends, but now you get to see if all your hard work pays off. Yes, you get to see it pay off over the course of 4 months and change. So there's a lot of time left, but it'll be a fun sweat. Definitely got to keep the emotions readily close to yourself, near and dear, as I hold this football. That's where you have to keep your emotions. Because there's going to be a lot of swings, and sometimes teams that start like dog shit, especially if you build like I do, you're trying to bet on the rookies and all that. You do end up with some teams that are just feeling dead in the water to start, and then you dig out of it, hopefully. All right. We need another receiver. We have a little bit on Houston, so I think a bet on Treylon Burks makes sense with one of these picks. So let's do that. And then for the second one, we've got a 1-2-5-1. Should start getting some running backs in. We don't have a need for tight end yet. Is Jaylen Warren more valuable than Zach Charbonnet at this point? I feel like he kind of is. Just because the role is a little bit more secure, Charbonnet falls more. I am going to take Jaylen Warren here. That was a tough call, though. Not sure that was the right pick, but I think it was the right pick right now. Let me show you guys this real fast. So this is going to be a weird one. Stick with me, though. And again, we'll get right back to the draft. But we have so much time in between picks that I think actually makes sense to do this right now. So here is I've been toying with this. This is not the final thing, but here's Probably. So here we go. And then I'm going to share with you guys this screen, which is going right now. Of course, this is the app I've been working on for so fucking long. Let's switch it. Oh, there we go. This is roughly how things will look when I start putting out content for Probably. And you can see the bets going on here. Here are the live markets. You can see the probabilities. Here's the data you can get. And again, this product will be coming out this week. So we're coming out this week for the wait list, then before NFL week 1 for everybody else. But very excited to see this. Football, we actually have an API issue with NFL right now. But you can see how this would look, where it basically makes it easy to get in good bets, like while you're on the toilet kind of stuff. There's the live app too, so you're seeing it in real time. It's pulling data in. We got to fix that. Some stuff that has to be fixed, but it is going to function as it should data-wise. Updates every 15 minutes is when we check for our market probabilities, and then also the live sportsbook opportunities. And again, you can see it right here. And it looks like it's on a phone because it's a mobile product. Wow, how genius. Anyway, back to the thing you guys are actually here to watch. That's my baby. That's the baby I've been working on with my best friend from high school since, a little too long. A little too long, since last April, basically. Back to Splash Play. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it, guys. Always coming. That's what we're hoping to see. But yeah, that's been a lot of work and a lot of money. So give it a shot. Obviously, there'll be free components to it. There'll be paid memberships to go along with it as well. But you can see probabilities for every event in sports. And I think that's the thing that I want to start to make public for people, because I think it's unfair. Like, the sportsbook market, I want to say, is unfair, but it certainly takes advantage of people's lack of knowledge of things. So our hope is that we can give people a mechanism to get in good data-friendly bets, theoretically, mathematically profitable, where you're trying to derive an expected value based off our market true probabilities that are coming from the highest money, winningest sportsbooks in the world kind of thing. Then we grade out real live opportunities with OddsJam's live sportsbook data, and then you can make a bet off of it. And I think it's hopefully intuitive, hopefully fun. Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. Again, excited for it to be in people's hands, and then we can find out all the shit that's broken that we don't know about. But one thing I'm really excited about, though, is the search tool on it. We're still figuring that out. It's not going to be perfect for launch. But basically, the search tool will allow you to search like Baker Mayfield, and you're going to instantly get all the Baker Mayfield bets that are there, along with our data, the true probability, as well as the sportsbook opportunities. And also, you could search like money line, and you'll get every money line bet, and you could sort them by most probable, most profitable, all that stuff. I think it's a really powerful tool that doesn't exist, so I'm hoping that we'll have some fun stuff. Weekly newsletter has been really good, so this should help immensely. Thank you. It's been a journey. Appreciate you guys. Back to the board, though. Would have liked to get Eli Mitchell. He is back going to a normal, pretty good range for him. Mitchell would have made sense with our little bit of Washington, but that's fine. Mitchell is certainly a guy I've loved this entire offseason. I have more than enough Mitchell. I think that's pretty good. In a second, Pacheco or Herbert. That's a tough call. I'd go Pacheco because I do think Pacheco is the back that stands to gain more, whereas Herbert's the guy who's more likely to lose something to Roschon as the season goes on. So I'd favor Pacheco between those two. I hope so. I hope we move lines. But, I think the way that we're doing it, too, hopefully bets should not be stale right away and still have our expected value going into it. But that's what we're hoping for. Jordan Mason late. And honestly, you can make the case that you probably should have taken more. We all should have taken more Jordan Mason throughout the draft process. I've been more willing, again, as I usually am, willing to buy the injury dip for guys like Elijah Mitchell, because I know football players just want to ball. That's all guys like me and Elijah Mitchell want to do. We just want to be out there no matter what. But I do think with Elijah Mitchell, too, he's been so good that if you make the bet that he's healthy and he somehow hits on that bet, like this guy was, by touch, one of the best rushers in the league last year. Let's pull up the numbers here, as we always have to do, to give me the credibility I so deserve or yearn for, really. 0.21 EPA per rush, which is fantastic for a guy that has as many carries as he did, about 9 rushes per game. And then also a 25% rushing DVOA. Actually, no, 35% rushing DVOA, which would be one of the best marks in the league for a running back who actually got meaningful touches. So Elijah Mitchell, to me, is just one of those dudes where if he's healthy, like, he will crush Jordan Mason and crush his value. And obviously, hopefully take enough away from McCaffrey that you get some leverage there. Boom football. Boom football indeed. I'm holding with my left hand now. Pretty crazy. All right, we're on the clock. Got to get some players in. I do think that at this point, Jared Goff makes sense. Sam Laporta goes incredibly early because Lord knows you just can't draft these rookies anymore in any fucking room. So we'll have to get another running back here instead, I think. Or we could get Cole Kmet. Let's see if we could push Cole Kmet. I think he's not a sexy enough prospect. Sometimes does fall in rooms. So we will take old Samaje Perine. Yeah, that makes sense. So team so far: Justin Fields, Damian Pierce, Miles Sanders, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, DJ Moore, Kyle Pitts, Jahan Dotson, Treylon Burks, who's back at practice too, by the way, quietly. And he fell, 40 spots in ADP between the DeAndre Hopkins signing and also this injury. So maybe somebody to scoop up along with Jerry Jeudy and McLaurin, and of course JSN, who's back at practice too. Anyway, Treylon Burks, Jalen Warren, Jared Goff, Samaje Perine. I would have liked to have gotten Laporta on that turn, but instead we get one more good running back, so that probably is better for the team, even though Laporta would be nice to have Laporta, but what are we going to do? Yeah, we got Kyle Pitts. Who needs Laporta when you got Kyle Pitts, right? You talk about Mitchell. If he stays healthy, he'll have between 10 to 15 touches and a great run offense. Absolutely. And also the touches he's going to get are especially going to be the ones where it's like, oh, the Niners are up and they're just dominating this team. And it's like, here's a touchdown for Elijah Mitchell. Like, those plays are not the most sexy. Like Christian McCaffrey getting all the pass game work and all that he'll get. Not, going to be a lot more sexy on paper. Definitely, going a lot earlier as well. But if Mitchell can just be the Jamal Williams for that team, at least to some fractional amount. And also, all the running backs have been more involved in the pass game this year because they don't want to telegraph that, oh, Mitchell or Jordan Mason's on the field, we're not going to throw it now. So these guys might actually have a little more PPR value too. And I think that could certainly be a positive, of course. You need 3 tight ends with Pitts. I'm happy to take 3 tight ends with anybody if it aligns and I feel like I'm good enough at the other positions. So you may get your wish, Larry. I may be on a 3 tight end build. Like the damn video, y'all. Yes, listen to the leader of the Squirt Squad. Of course, I am the de facto commander, I guess. I don't know what title I would, but the Squirt Squad is an autonomous being for itself. And Tyler is one of the guys who I consider most integral to success. So join him here. Subscribe down below. Hit the like button. Leave a comment if you're watching after the fact. If you come back later, of course, leave a comment whenever. I always reply. And we appreciate it here. And feel free to hit the join button too, $4.99 a month. And you too can have a cool helmet like Tyler has to his name, the Splash Play logo there, the official commanding you to be a part of the Squirt Squad. That's all you can do. That's all you can do to join. King Come. Good. Thank you. You own that one. I guess better than King Hippo. Though King Hippo, successful boxing career. So maybe. I haven't heard about this King Come doing anything in the ring. The Bonk Bros and the Squirt Squads. too many subgroups here, subdivisions, like Game of Thrones here on the Splash Play community. All right, we are in round 12, heading into round 13. I don't know if you guys ever have got stumbled on one of those streamers where there's some guys who call it like they're doing play-by-play for a game. And I think that's kind of fun where it's oh, we're heading into the 13th round here. We got Jordan Love going at the turn. Jordan Love, of course, normally goes with the 145 ADP. Here he's going with the 140. I don't know if that would be good content, but kind of maybe fun background noise. Maybe better than me babbling and doing silly voices. Spags, I want to own a Come and Go. I mean, that feels like it would fit the brand. Crazy that that's the name of an actual place. How do you not adapt after all these years and go oh, wait, this is slang for jizz and we're going to make it our brand with multiple locations. I'm going to expect people to pay for a franchise on my jizz named gas station. But hey, can't all be Wawa, right? Shout out to the chat as well. What a deuce is my squirts. Yes, unfortunately, Deuce Vaughn hasn't been drafted for our guy Chunk, who's been, along with Mr. Shadow Dog in the chat, one of the preeminent subscribers of the good word of Deuce Vaughn, the tiny word of Deuce Vaughn. It's just one of those little books, those little books you give out to a kid, perhaps. That's the good book of Deuce Vaughn. It's a book big enough that it makes his hands look large. That's Deuce Vaughn for you. Glad we got to height shame a professional athlete who's worlds ahead of me. But not as big. I got 7 inches on that guy. Am I right? Buc-ee's for life. Never been to a Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's is the big Texas one, right? I feel like that has does they have really good jerky? Is that a thing? I've said before on this stream that Casey's, I think in Iowa, and just the Midwest in general, Casey's is so fucking good. That pizza, man. I never had it while I was baked out of my mind, people recommended, but I feel like that pizza was one that I was blown away by for a greasy gas station pizza. Pretty sick. Wawa makes good sandwiches. Got to give him credit for that. Come visit. I don't do things, Tyler. I haven't even visited my friends. Though, Tyler, you're moving up the ranks pretty fast. I actually have to go to Atlanta to see one of my friends at some point, who is the CTO of Probably. But he's the one. I don't know if you have been reading the Probably emails. My CTO, my best friend since high school, had a tree fall on his house, and they've now been repairing the house for 4 months. Thankfully covered by USAA. He's a vet as well. So yeah, salute our troops. Sign him for Probably. But yeah, tree fell on his house, and he's been living in hotels for 4 months with a 9-month-old dog that he got too. So not great. Tough times here. Casey's bacon and egg. See, I didn't have the breakfast pizza either. I definitely missed out. But yeah, the pizza in general is really good. And I've got 7 inches on that guy. I mean, that's what I have tattooed here on my head. You just can't see it because of that. Oh, Ivan's in the Atlanta area. I don't know where I thought you'd be from, Ivan, but I didn't expect Atlanta. Everybody hanging out with Donald Glover, getting their lemon pepper wings, making it count. Got to get wet. You got to get it wet. Okay, this could be a fun pocket here. Fun pocket to be a little running back piggy. All right, so we got Tyler Algier. Did not force Cole Kmet down to us, unfortunately, which happens often enough that I do think it's worth a shot. But I am going to take Roshan here because we did not go Herbert earlier. We do have this bet on Chicago, of course, and Atlanta. So teams so far, Fields, Damian Pierce, Miles Sanders. Of course, Miles Sanders was that decision tree we made over Khalil Herbert. CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, DJ Moore, Kyle Pitts, Jahan Dotson, Traylon Burks, Jalen Warren, Jared Goff, Samaje Perine, Tyler Algier, Roshan Johnson. The good news, I do feel like I need some receivers late here because we do have the bet on Miles Sanders. We'll have some Carolina guys late, including Terrace Marshall, who's back at practice after the back injury. People scared off of him. But he is a guy I'm happy to go to late. Trey Palmer, happy to add as a receiver late. Definitely will have some options coming up here. So I feel good about this team start. Not my usual DraftKings tilt, mostly because I took my QBs ahead of time. I think I took my QBs at a range where we couldn't get sniped. So that worked. Mr. Pittsburgh is from Nashville. God, this is one of those M. Night Shyamalan twists. I did not expect that. So we're just learning everybody's from places I would not expect. Big text from New York. Yeah. I can't do a Forrest Gump impression, or I would try. Summer, I want to host ship chasing, drafting a stream at JSC, and you and I can go draft at Buc-ee's. Okay. That's a plan. Would like to do the Vegas thing next year if I can actually. It's just like the thing is, I need like concrete plans given to me, and I feel like it's not my part in that world. So I don't know where that will work out for me, but we'll figure it out at some point. At some point, I'll be part of the world. Make my public debut at the Fantasy Football Expo. I had to do events for Barstool back in the day. I think that probably that was fun, but it was a lot. It was weird. It was weird at those times. Took the QBs just ahead of that time of the month. Yes, of course, the red on DraftKings that our friend Ross here affectionately calls the period boys, people that take too many QBs. And as you can see, there are, in fact, a few of them here. Did anybody really ruin an early QB build? Nothing too crazy. Lamar and Tua, Trevor Lawrence and Geno, Herbert. Honestly, this room by QB standards has been pretty sane. So I guess that's why I got Jared Goff at a reasonable range, because these guys are not drafting like absolute lunatics. I guess the Josh Allen drafter is the closest, drafting a little bit weird here, where they took Cousins, took Allen, took Jordan Love, uncorrelated Jordan Love, uncorrelated Allen. Not great picks by T Woods in the one hole. Lamar and Tua, that's a no-no. Yeah, it's not great. I think both teams are going to be good, so I don't mind taking them. And that's the one rule I would say for Week 17 stuff where I wouldn't avoid going with the two QBs playing in the same Week 17 for that reason. But again, the logic would be if you draft two QBs from the same game, you're then not getting multiple game stacks. That's the reason you should have multiple QBs, is trying to get those multiple game stacks going for Week 17. So obviously there's reasons, logic on both sides. But for Miami, Baltimore, I'm kind of willing to go la, la, la. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Both offenses are too good. Buc-ee's has housing. Jesus. I don't know if I would want to live in a Buc-ee's. That seems like a bit much. Happy to give them a shot. Happy to eat their foods and try out their wares, but I don't know that I want to move in there like Tom Hanks in a Terminal or whatever that movie was. I guess in Texas, a guy who knows ball like me, they would gravitate towards me. They'd be like, hey, you're like the new Coach Taylor here. And I'd be like, clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose. And they would immediately go, yes, that's what Coach Taylor would say. And I'd be like, don't know how I knew. Connie Britton, you want to talk about TV moms? As you all were thinking when I started talking about Friday Night Lights, Connie Britton, like a fine wine. Someone took Rodgers at 107 in my last BBM. If you want to talk about early QB issues, Jesus. At this point, I don't begrudge any of you guys. If you have weird things that happens in your draft rooms and it doesn't really hurt your team and it might help it, I wouldn't even post a screenshot. I would just let it live. That DraftKings draft I talked about a couple of weeks ago where I got basically every player I ever wanted, 10 picks after ADP. I didn't feel the need to post that as a screenshot on Twitter. I think we can figure out if somebody was doing something weird in that room. Come January, we can deal with that problem. You don't know the public if you got lucky on a good team. That's what I would say. As long as you're not the one doing it. You can't be having your friends come into drafts and go like, hey, I got to get all the good players. Don't do that. I would still be willing to take Jeff Wilson in the 20th round, by the way, at this point. If you have enough of them, certainly be willing to walk away, not grab more. But I do think he's got to be willing to get a little bit more of. At the right price, of course, at the end of drafts. Irv Smith still floating around. Doesn't really correlate with anything, but I don't think that matters. Just get Irv here. Nice tight end, because we do need a second tight end at this point, maybe even a third. You know what? Just given what we know, though I do need a receiver. I only have 5 receivers at this point. Let's see if we can push Taysom. Maybe he'll fall back to me. Curtis Samuel makes sense of this build with the Washington stuff we have going, the vague whiff of Washington stuff. So Curtis Samuel, team so far, Justin Fields, Damian Pierce, Miles Sanders, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, DJ Moore, Kyle Pitts, Jahan Dotson, Treylon Burks, Jalen Warren, Jared Goff, Samaje Perine, Tyler Algier, Roshan Johnson, Irv Smith, and Curtis Samuel. As you guys might have seen on the DraftKings stream yesterday too, other injured guy that I haven't mentioned today, but I did take on drafters, I think in both drafts I did yesterday, Jameson Williams will sometimes fall to like the 170s on DraftKings. That guy was going in the 60s in the beginning of this process before the gambling suspension and him also being hurt throughout the preseason. So I would also have no issue scooping up Jameson Williams. I think one of the better things you could probably do for your portfolio at this point, scoop up falling Terry McLaurin, scoop up JSN, who still, for some reason, falls in DraftKings rooms because people haven't seen that he's actually back at practice. I would still scoop up Jerry Jeudy. I think the fact that he's going 30 picks after where he was before, if you get him in the 70s, get him in the 80s, absolutely take him in the 60s. I don't mind either. But I'd scoop up all these guys. Shout out to Chad as well. No nut November and come January. Good stuff. Mark Andrews going to pick 9, and I was going to take him at the 2-3 turn with Lamar. Probably a bit of a reach for Mark Andrews, even though I do believe in him there. Happy to have my Mark Andrews safely in mostly the late 20s. Let's see. Prioritizing 3 QB, late QB builds in August. Casual drafters love themselves an elite unstacked QB. Fair logic. I think that's a good way to try to jump yourself over the field. So I could see that. Wouldn't try to force it too much. Like you really got to have solid wide receiver rooms and running back rooms. But I think honestly, coincidentally, like an extreme 0 RB build would probably look pretty good if you were trying to get to 3 QBs. Got money shot comments. Never posted my BBM from the draft where Knox went in the 4th round. Yeah. I get it. We all want to be responsible gentlemen. I would say if there's any of you who do collude out there, I hope you're not in the chat because I don't think that's a good thing to do. That said, if somebody else is trying something stupid next to you and you get a fucking sick team, it's not my fault, man. It's not, especially me, the one who has all these teams on stream where we got the sharpest drafters in the world filing in along with the mix of maniacs. And I think I'm owed these, I'm owed these good teams from that process. Glad the chat, helping out the chat, would give you my state if I would. Love to hear it. Collusion me into 3 mil. I mean, I think when the Bachelor couple did their collusion thing, DraftKings had to settle with them, even though they had proof that they had colluded. So I guess theoretically, like, I mean, I'm not trying to, don't do it, guys. It's a fucking bad idea. Much more likely you get caught and then you get banned from every platform. And you imagine how depressing that would be, given how often I'm sure people have tried to cheat. If you're the one that gets caught cheating, like, oh my God. The shame you'd have in the cheater community. you'd be ostracized from everything. They were the couple that won an NFL week, Millionare Maker. I forget what it was, but basically they had lineups. They had a set of 300 lineups where they didn't overlap and complemented each other. So it was very obvious collusion for them. And, in addition to them sharing a house and an IP and all that stuff. I think the Bachelor approach to DFS is EV. I mean, it was minus EV, I guess. I don't know if it was minus EV because they didn't have to pay anything and they got money out of it. So I think theoretically it was plus EV. But, Chris Randone's got a great process. So, not all Bachelor contestants, right? I still like Randone. I won't stand for anybody who wants to besmirch him. Always a nice guy to me. Hate seeing people be, victimized. Especially handsome men like Chris Randone. Fellow Chris. Bachelor couple, such garbage. If we started not allowing people who are garbage to have money, I think the world would be a much different place. Not my Bachelor. We stand Trevor's sick. I saw that Trevor's sick. One of them have to go public and say, I'm not dead this week, which is a tough one. I never want to have to give out an announcement informing people that I am, in fact, not dead. I just hope that's the thing. It's the thing that doesn't happen. Randone blocked me. Were you mean to him? You probably were mean to him, if I had to guess. He's got the right to manage his platform as he sees fit. And I say that as, again, I'm a tough guy. I know ball. You see me holding a football right now, and you know how tough you have to be out in public on a stream holding a football? And yet here I am saying if he needs to block you for his mental health, so be it. So be it. Of course, got a couple more drafts coming up here today, guys. So strap in. Going to be a fun afternoon. And again, once we get to the 420 mark, this bad boy right here, this lovingly crafted J will be smoked. And I will be blazed out of my mind because this room is not well ventilated. I have a fan going lightly. That's about all we've got in here. So strap in for the fun. Only on Splash Play am I willing to submarine my career in the name of comedic bits of doing drugs like I'm Cheech and Chong or Harold and Kumar, who I also love. Fun fact about Harold and Kumar. Apparently, my wife is from Cherry Hill. Not apparently about that part. The apparently is about this part. No White Castle in Cherry Hill in New Jersey, which I think is bullshit and hurts me a lot as a fan of that movie. Absolutely hurts me. LFG, shout out Katie. It's ladies' night here. We get blazed draft team where all the fellas get blazed off their ass in draft teams. All right. Michael Mayer, you look like a tasty treat at this point in the draft. Let's scoop him up. Let's get Michael Mayer on our boat. And then we're going to also get, is there anything else that, there's like nothing else that correlates that I actually want. Cincinnati. Do we have any, is like Justin Ross floating around? Justin Ross goes too early now. Stupid. Take Devontae Parker here. We don't have anything Buffalo related, but Devontae Parker, I think at this point, nice bailout receiver to give us 7 receivers overall. Team so far, Justin Fields, Dameon Pierce, Miles Sanders, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, DJ Moore, Kyle Pitts, Jahan Dotson, Traylon Burks, Jalen Warren, Jared Goff, Samaje Perine, Tyler Algier, Roshan Johnson, Irv Smith, Curtis Samuel, Michael Mayer, and Devontae Parker. That is it. And then we'll have 2 more, I think, receivers coming up here. Feels about right because this running back room feels pretty solid. And I think there are 2 receivers who won't get drafted. I'm not going to put them on the queue yet. But I think we've got 2 late receivers who correlate who won't get drafted. And they'll be dart throws, but exciting dart throws. I love an exciting 19th round dart throw. It gets me there. Spags hotboxing it. I am. Look, I'm committed here. I don't normally hotbox. I usually vape everything too. So you're going to watch me fucking hack up a lung. Not a big joint smoker these days. Some of my finest memories. My old pal Buddha Ben when I was at Barstool. Barstool was like a frustrating time for at certain points of that. But one of the best memories I have there is we would sit out on this or stand out on this balcony. I guess more of a fire escape. And like me and the production guys and like Roan and a few of the content guys would all just hang out and have like a smoking circle. And Ben would always roll the best blunts with backwoods. And that's a fond memory for me. So I'm a weed boy. I am a weed boy. So I'm happy to share with you guys, me again, probably embarrassing myself in some way. I smoke enough weed where I'm not going to be like comically high. I could probably say that. The spark one you do, spark to that. More of an edible guy. Calling your money shot. All over the place. It's not yet, though. I'm holding out till 420. At 420, we're going to do it. We're going to be full cliche stoners because we're at the end of draft cycles. Like, I'm not going to do this. This isn't a Monday thing, but no daycare pickup for me today because the mother-in-law's over. So we're going to do it. We're going to celebrate DraftKings the way that it deserves by numbing yourself with drugs. That's how it goes. Weed boy time to get embarrassed. Weed boy, dat boy. 2 of my favorite boys. Love to hear it. All right, we got 2 rounds left. Again, I hope next draft I don't pick at the turn. I'm like, as you guys know, hopefully a lot of people watching. I appreciate each and every one of you who watched me live. It's been a great joy to have that. That said, filling time between 24 picks, much more difficult with just one person streaming without a co-pilot. So that's why the chat's the co-host that really matters to me because you guys help me fill that air between like how long do I have to wait? I just want to pick fucking Tyler Scott. Let me pick. Hard alcohol for DK. Also true. It's Spags buy a comically small pizza again for the occasion. Yeah, Tyler watched this video recently, so that's fresh in his mind. I bought what I thought was a reasonably, 14-inch pizza is pretty reasonable. It's not a personal pizza, but it's not, it's not a large one. Yeah, Pete pounded the shit out of that pizza. Like, if ever you want to doubt Pete's cred, that boy getting baked with me and both eating a pizza in the Splash Play Classic episodes playlist here on the channel. Pete fucking crushed that one. But he's got all that muscle, it's got to go somewhere. Stone is the preferred way to have a mother-in-law in the house. Oh my gosh. Let's break out the old battle act jokes. I love my mother-in-law. She's great. She's a lovely lady and very kind to me. So can't be mad at it. And then again, because of her existence, her being here and her desire to be a good grandma, I get to smoke weed in the studio while drafting a best ball team. So like, how could I possibly be mad at her? No, it's not a large one. That's what she said. Hey, again, that's what she said about your pizza sizes. That much I can tell you. I enjoyed, by the way, I was watching Lulz before I started the stream. Fun episode. I presume they've ended by now based on the live viewers going up here, but make sure to check out that Lulz episode. I feel like they've been having nice conversations, especially if you are somebody who's going to play NFL DFS this year. Pretty good insights last week from Justin Freeman. And of course, Brick has been giving kind of his sim DFS being dead thoughts a lot, but thought that interview they did with Ricky D from what I saw from the first half was pretty good. So the plug for Pete, who never needs a plug for me. Go check him out. All right, 2 picks coming up here. So again, we do have this bet in Chicago. Didn't get Darnell Mooney here. Did get DJ Moore. So like, you can make the case that we don't really need another Bear as a pass catcher for Fields, but I am going to make this a build where we try to get Tyler Scott, who I think could benefit if the rumors about Mooney being moved on from were anywhere close to reality. Tyler Scott can be a guy that gets there. And as I talked about, Terrace Marshall back in practice. Nobody wants to draft him. He makes sense for this build. Jalen Tolbert would also make sense for this build. All right, guys, pick 2 out of 3. Tyler Scott, Terrace Marshall, Jalen Tolbert. I think based on like the pure talent level and the fact we do have a little bit of a bet on Carolina, I think Terrace Marshall should be one of them. But you guys tell me. I'm going to put Terrace Marshall top in the queue, so he's probably going to go. So really, Tyler Scott or Jalen Tolbert? Who would you guys pick? And I love that this is a question we can ask here, and I think you guys will have actual takes. So Never Tolbert, Marshall Tolbert, Scott and Marshall. Is Jalen related to Tanner? Jalen Tolbert's making some Millionare Maker lineups right now. Made up guys don't do well. All right, Scott. People saying Scott. People don't want Tolbert. All right, Scott. Yeah, Scott with Fields. All right, done. Tyler Scott it is. Our bad boy for Cincinnati is the final pick. So the final team review: Justin Fields, Dameon Pierce, Miles Sanders, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, DJ Moore, Kyle Pitts, Jahan Dotson, Traylon Burks, Jalen Warren, Jared Goff, Samaje Perine, Tyler Algier, Roshan Johnson, Irv Smith, Curtis Samuel, Michael Mayer, Devontae Parker, Terrace Marshall, and Tyler Scott. One thing I wish I had was Sam Laporta, but Lord knows I'm not allowed to draft him at any time that I have Jared Goff. It's about that time, guys, though. Let's queue up another one. You can see me doing the process here live on screen. Click in Best Ball, $10 entry, $1 million to win. This will be draft number 141 for me on DraftKings next week. I think this tournament's not going to fill, so we will close out DraftKings live on stream as well. But here we go. Got a bunch of entrants left. I'm entering right now. Draft along with me on DraftKings. And of course, as I've mentioned, DraftKings does not. Oh, we're filled already. So see if that's a snap fill or if we got some guys in. Don't recognize the names. So you guys might be drafting. Oh, we got Carlos, I think, in here. Yeah, I don't think anybody else. 1 minute 45 left. So let's go. Again, no DraftKings promo code to give out, but good news. We do have one on Drafters, which is going to have some overlay as well. They've been very kind to me. Talked to the founder, Zach, as I talked about, and he's really proud of his product and wants people to check it out. But again, the overlay on Drafters is going to be a good thing for you. If you are a new depositor, use that promo code SPLASH for up to a $100 deposit match. If you already have an account on Drafters, they have not forgotten you either because they know ball. Use the promo code SPLASH100 on Drafters, and they'll give you a match of 20% up to $500. So Drafters Million has 300K to first place. I'm getting my entries in. Gonna have another double header of drafts on there next week, so check it out. And of course, Underdog, you guys probably have accounts there, but if you don't, use the promo code SPLASH. Underdog, the preeminent platform, best platform out there, I would say. But you know, check them out too. Probably not gonna have overlay, maybe in weekly winners. But besides that, there you go. And of course, subscribe, like, and comment. Now that we're in the horror portion of things. Oh, it's over here. Subscribe, like, and comment, and do that too. God, and I got that done with 45 seconds left, still to go on the clock. Here we go. Carlos. Yep, Carlos in the chat. FF Doom will get next. FF Doom will wait until I spark one up and do the last draft. That works. Will is in the 3-hole. Will is left in pieces. So we'll follow Will in the 3-hole. We'll follow Carlos picking right before me. And of course, I got a very non-influential 110 here. And Dylan in the 7-hole. So we got a couple guys. And we got apparently AS Molitor already doing auto draft. So that's going to bode well. If you see an auto drafter on DraftKings, keep in mind, auto draft will usually make DraftKings drafters pick 4 QBs. So that is how the sniping can happen with auto drafters in your room. Keep it in mind. Oh, sometimes I need like way more. Sometimes things don't even finish. And you just go, do I have to keep doing this? I'm not, I'm a tie boy. Let's pull up this. Let's get this aligned correctly here. Let's start this the right way. And then DraftKings, because of how terrible it is to stream the draft board sometimes, it'll get away from me then. But for now, let's make it look pretty. Bonk Coke. I am not a Coke guy. I've only done Coke a handful of times. I have no issue with it, but yeah, not my preferred. Not my preferred. Not my most accessible. This stuff, this is legal here in Pennsylvania. Like we're good. Coke, hardly knew her. It's not how that joke goes. We got B Angle here. Brother of Kurt Angle in the 5-hole. A.E. Tucker. What's he going to do? What's this character A.E. Tucker going to do? Can somebody do something entertaining and silly so I have a bit to work off of? King of the North. More like King of the Dork. I don't know. No, wait, that was Dylan. Never mind. Sorry, Dylan. Bijan goes at a reasonable spot. Sometimes on DraftKings, he will fall. Fell once again in a room where I had not the access to get him with my pick. He fell to 21st in a DraftKings room I was in recently. Bijan, not usually going to fall that much, but if he does, probably should scoop him up if you can. Katie got banned. Oh no! What did you do, Katie? Katie's colluding out there. All right, Amon-Ra goes. Interesting by Carlos. I mean, I think I have drafted Stephon Diggs more than any player on a DraftKings draft so far this year. And yet here I am willing to do it again because I still think he's a good player on a great offense. But Stephon Diggs is the 110. AJ Brown, I could have taken. I don't know. None of it's really doing much for me. Coke pokes are the best. I prefer Coke floats. Let's get this back to a family-friendly place. Talking about ice cream mixed with fucking fatty soda that makes all of our children diabetic piggies. We'll get back on track with that. See, I feel like I've gotten so much Diggs, but FF Doom cannot get Diggs in any room he's in. I get Diggs everywhere. I've gotten Diggs at the 7 on Underdog. I've gotten him at no, not the 20, not quite there. Got him at the 17 on DraftKings, though. Definitely high teens for him. So Diggs to me, he just falls wherever I go, and I'm happy to get him. But the tough part for me is like, I just don't take Josh Allen in the second round. I'm taking Josh Allen if I could force him to fall to me in the third. And on DraftKings in particular, that is a real tough one to navigate. But we'll see. Still going to do it. Still going to do it that way. And again, hard for me to argue. We'll see what Miguel Blow here does. Six Nick Chubb. Hard for me to argue with a Diggs plus Wilson or Adams start. Obviously, Wilson theoretically a little more rare here, so I will take him. But I have enough Diggs Adams starts down too, and I feel pretty good about that. I was definitely jealous in the beginning part of the DK draft season where I think guys like Ross were getting a lot of Diggs with Adams, like Adams back when he was starting to fall because Jimmy Garoppolo had the injured foot. And now it's like Adams is going even lower. Like there's been no reason why Adams should go lower. And the fact that he's going to go in this room, he's probably going to go in the 20s. Just crazy to me. If you want family friendly, you have to do the Flock impression. I forget it every time. That's the tough part for me. He never falls to 8 when you're there and you're never taking him over Cup. That's reasonable. I wouldn't take him over Cup either. I would take Diggs over Eckler and Bijan, though, if you need to get some exposure. But I guess you're not even getting that shot. Hero QB start. There we go. Yeah, this has got one guy taking Kelsey and Mahomes. I would be happy to get Josh Allen at the 310 spot, but I'm not taking him over Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams. That's not how that's going to go for me. I will die with Adams this year, as you should. Adams was great last year, and he did not get great QB play from Derek Carr. And for whatever you could say about Garoppolo, and again, I hate this quote now that I know our guy Ben reminded me that it was a Mussolini quote, but like Jimmy Garoppolo keeps the train running on time in terms of an offense. Like he's going to move the sticks. He's going to be a guy that maybe doesn't provide the same value downfield, but that's great on a DraftKings format because that means more PPR points for Devontae Adams. I think that's a play that I've been confused by Adams falling this entire offseason. I think people just don't respect Jimmy's ability to be mid and to be confident enough to get a guy the ball. But also Aiden O'Connell, like I've talked about it with Stafford, where I think Matt Stafford might end up getting hurt at some point and you see Stetson Bennett come in. I think that for Jimmy, if the same thing happens for him, Aiden O'Connell has looked pretty lively. Definitely looks better than he looked in college so far. Obviously, it's a preseason, but I think he's shown enough that I wouldn't feel awful if I had to start him. Where's Bullock knows ball? Here's Bobo. Hey, Bobo. Adams sucks. There we go. Great take. Great take. Dude sniped on Lamar. Oh, yeah. Oh, you got to get the Lamar Najee Harris pairing. Woof. Even if you're a Najee fan, don't take him at 3-1. Oh, like you can get him in the 60s if you get into the right room. Take a Najee. Cam Loco, I have to assume, is not in the chat. Cam Loco might be doing his own stream where he's pounding some old Four Locos, some vintage Four Locos. But good, we'll get some value on the way back. Josh Jacobs goes where he's been going in this room, which is surprising. Goes at 3-4. Come on, baby. There goes Josh Allen, of course. Got to take Josh Allen when you've got Bijan and Adams. Oh, it's always the guy who's in chat, too. You're lucky it's not Spags Stacks, or else I'd be complaining and muting. But it's fine. I don't expect to get Josh Allen back. It is what it is. Got Gibbs, Metcalf, Samuel on the board. Could do Ramondre, though I am still not the biggest Ramondre guy. See what Carlos says. I feel like Carlos is going to take Gibbs. He does take Gibbs. Nice little value on Gibbs. Gibbs, again, looks better full point PPR site. There's a world where he can be Christian McCaffrey in that facet of the game. Amari Cooper here. Let's see that for the Garrett Wilson correlation. I think I have that one an okay amount, more so an underdog than DraftKings. So my team so far, Stephon Diggs, Garrett Wilson, Amari Cooper. This guy who knows ball, loves a good high octane passing offense. And I think we are live to go in Extreme Zero RB here. So let's see what we do. Shout out Zane. Shout out everybody joining here. Appreciate you guys. Doesn't matter what time you come in. All that matters is that you show up and join in here on the fun on Splash Play. And of course, going to hit one more draft. And I guess if this draft finishes at the normal rate, I don't think I'm going to hold out till 420 to smoke. I feel like I got to do the last draft while smoking, I think. So we're going to have to move things around here. These DraftKings drafts are moving faster today, which is a positive. Moving faster, me still getting sniped on players, less of a positive. Now we got Fields and Moore here, but cannot get both of them. So that's going to be suboptimal for me. I can take my guys, though, if there's one who Mega Blow doesn't do. Come on, Mega Blow. Mega Blow. Joe Mixon. All right. I think I'm going to take Christian Watson here. It may shock you to hear. Big Christian Watson fan here. I don't get to talk about him too much, but just because if I could get more in Fields, I would give it a shot. But they're basically at ADP right now. I don't foresee all these guys in front of me passing them up on the way back. So going to get Christian Watson, keep this Extreme Zero RB team alive. Diggs, Garrett Wilson, Amari Cooper, Christian Watson. Bolick will Mega Blow me. Thank you. Thank you. It sounds like a very special action, no matter what it may be, no matter how we want to define it. If Najee buries me, it is what it is. If it ends up Najee being the guy and I'll never show up in chat again, no. I don't want to hear that. Though, again, the username of the guy Spurious News telling you, man, I can't leave Najee behind. If ever there were spurious news, that is it. Heath outperformed Mingo last year at Ole Miss. He also led the Packers in preseason yards, started in place of Dobbs. You can see Heath starting outside, Reed in slot. I don't know enough about this Heath guy. I don't even know what the first name is. Who is this Heath? I know Heathcliff. I'm usually not caught off guard. I'm looking at Packers depth chart, and I'll see if I have this Heath character in my data, because I think I should if he's got enough targets. Oh, Malik Heath. I have heard that name. Haven't heard. He hasn't been mentioned a lot with camp reports, though, has he? At least that I'm aware of. Malik Heath. Where should we put him? Here, I'll put him over Jake Bobo for now in my sheet. Malik Heath, come on. Are you in the... Okay. Wow, Malik Heath fits the criteria of stuff I look for. 0.457 EPA per target. Not a great target per outrun rate, but not bad. 26%. Doesn't avoid tackles well, so he's not going to extend plays. 12% avoided tackle rate. It runs out wide, 5.6 wide targets per game, 0.328 EPA per target. That does, honestly... Dobbs analytically is not a guy that hits the check marks I look for in terms of EPA per target. Last year, Dobbs, obviously, we're comparing an NFL guy now to a guy playing in college. The Dobbs was a negative 0.11 EPA per target, negative 20% receiving DVOA last year. I think Dobbs' job is more fragile. I've thought that this entire offseason, but I didn't know who could possibly take it. So if this Heath guy actually, if he ends up bubbling up in the first couple weeks, I guess I wouldn't be shocked. Though I do think the bet is still Watson gets more, Watson explodes. But you can talk me into this Heath character. Bad 40 time. Bad 40 time. Interesting. Yeah, I don't care about that as much if you still produced and you played in the SEC. Like, I think that to me, that's what matters more. If he had those numbers and he produced like, at Liberty again, the Mario Douglas comp, I think that's a little bit less sexy. But I guess for the Packers too, Christian Watson came from a nothing division as well. The Dobbs team is ridiculous. Sean has led the Lambs to the slaughter on this. I don't think he did because I think if Dobbs played and he like had the role to start the year, I think he'd be a nice lever when teams start to eventually sell out to stop Christian Watson, which I think is how it's going to go. But I just don't think Dobbs is special. Like I think Dobbs is kind of just a dude who did practice a lot with Jordan Love in the offseason, but I don't think he's got special skills or anything. I think he can be replaced by any, like if Marvin Mims were on that team, I think he'd be an idiot to play Dobbs over Mims. All right, so we have Diggs, Wilson, Cooper, Watson, which sounds vaguely like a law firm. No wide receivers anywhere nearby, which sucks because I would like to keep taking receivers. I don't want to do fucking Dameon Pierce again, so I'm just going to do Tyler Lockett. Fucking Pickens going so early now. Pickens goes in the early 50s on DraftKings, sometimes in the late 40s. And I cannot get Pickens right where I want him to be on DraftKings at all anymore. I think we're going to have to take a running back on the way back because it would basically at this point be taking McLaurin ahead of ADP, which doesn't feel right given that he's fallen so much recently with the toe stuff. Yeah, not my preferred pocket. Deontay, I guess, is going to get steamed too. Like, are both guys just going to get steamed like they're the Bengals? Because that's kind of how it's feeling. I saw Hayden put out, I think, a tweet. Hayden Winks over at Underdog talking about Deontay Johnson and how great he's been. And both guys theoretically should smash their ADPs if Pickett is the same guy that we see in the preseason that I've thought he could be. So I don't hate it, but I do think if you're taking Pickens and Deontay in the 50s, like that's pretty... You're basically like the ADP rise is kind of priced in, I think, especially for Deontay. Pickens, I still think could be like a second and third rounder next year. Should Pickens be above Johnson? I think a lot of people would say no. I would say yes, because I think there's a chance that Pickens has another level to hit where Deontay is kind of at his level and we're just looking for him to regress positively for the touchdowns and stuff like that. So I would say Pickens should be above him. But they shouldn't, like, if that's the case, like Deontay should have come down and instead both are coming up. And I think that's where I would find it to be a little bit inaccurate. Again, would have loved a Pittsburgh receiver here to pair with Lockett. I think that would have been nice. No screaming ADP discounts. I'm never going to take an unstacked Trevor Lawrence. So that's not going to do it for me. Dobbins, I still think should go ahead of James Cook. So I will take Dobbins over Cook here. No correlation, but if we're going to start a running back run, I think he's the best running back to start a run in this range with. The vibe so far, the vibe so far, team so far, J.K. Dobbins, Stephon Diggs, Garrett Wilson, Amari Cooper, Christian Watson, Tyler Lockett. So we did not go full extreme zero RB. We have enough room now to go on a running back run, maybe grab a QB, though I don't think we're going to do that here. But it feels okay. Feels okay to me to get Dobbins with that receiver start. I think I like that. Let's see. I was reading this chat from FF Doom. The vibes are just astronomical on Pickens. Saw Deontay go at 52nd. Pickens or Johnson's a coin flip. Yeah, I guess that's probably an okay way to look at it. I still think you want to bet on the ascendant talent. You want to bet on a guy with an SEC pedigree who came in injured to start, and now he's going to theoretically rise with this vertical offense that Pittsburgh's bringing this year. I think that's why, to me, Pickens is so appealing. But like both guys get there if the bet on Pickett is right. So I think they've probably both been undervalued this entire offseason. And I perhaps mistakenly, I was still drafting Deontay and I'm above the field on both sides on him. So I'm not like, I don't want to misrepresent here, but I think I got caught up in the Pickens versus Deontay. And I should have instead rolled in the Pickens and Deontay. But Deontay was just so bad last year. It was hard for me to ignore. Deontay's numbers, I'll read them out here. Deontay, negative 0.09 EPA per target, negative 21% receiving DVOA was, I believe, 81st out of 85 qualifying receivers. So like very bad numbers for Deontay last year. But if we're going to say like, Justin Fields, if he becomes an average passer in advanced analytics, then he's probably a really good QB. If Deontay kind of takes this volume and turns into an average player with that volume, then he's probably going to do really well. And all the other kind of signals around it, the Matt Harmons of the world with reception perception, it does feel like there's a lot of Deontay support out there. So Yeah, one of those things. Can't have it back, but I also don't think I would have made as big of a bet on Deontay anyway. Pickens is more my kind of guy. Big dude, gets downfield, creates value with every touch. I like those guys the most. The vibes so far. Spat out my diet cocaine. Diet cocaine, much healthier for you than full fat cocaine. Looking like a Mayfield Otten lineup. Ugh, I hope not. I would like it to be a Love lineup. Maybe a Love Malik Heath lineup if we're feeling frisky. Old Heathcliff is on the radar now. Does Diet Cocaine have fentanyl? I guess if you're getting the store brand stuff, it might. Hammy injury for Kendre. Oh, no. Not going to worry about it. Maybe Kendry's just one of those guys that gets hurt all the time and then comes back and it's not as bad. Some whiffs of Eli Mitchell early in Kendre Miller's campaign. It would suck if he didn't start the year healthy because he can really win himself a role that matters to do that. The vibes are bad on Kendre. It's true. He does. I don't know. Is he keeping a positive energy when he keeps getting hurt? Because if he is, I would say the vibes are immaculate. I like guys that overcome these things. You want guys that are resilient and strong. And Njoku goes pretty early. Cam Loco's team is what I'd call Cam Loco. It's a little nutty by Cam Loco in the one hole. He's not taking guys with any logic. Okay. If I'm just taking guys that I think are good, Dallas Goedert fits that criteria here. So I am just going to take Dallas Goedert. The auto drafter, Miguel Blow, probably would have taken Goddard. So, yeah, here we go. Here he's going to auto away at a few picks. Okay. So we're not going to get Deshaun because Deshaun got reached on by a guy who already had Lamar Jackson. Very smart build by that guy. We always love when people subject us to that. We have a lot of fun when that happens. I think it's a nice David Montgomery build this time. We passed on him for Miles Sanders last time out. We'll take Montgomery here. So Dobbins, David Montgomery, Stephon Diggs, Garrett Wilson, Amari Cooper, Dallas Goedert, Christian Watson, Tyler Lockett. Not as much early correlation as I would like to start to set up, but I think the talent is there. Overall, these guys are looking pretty good in terms of players I would go for. What a run at running back by Miguel Blow. Gee whiz. Some of those are autos, admittedly, but should be some receiver value falling overall. Because this guy's just gobbling up running backs. Jesus. Everyone hates the Deshaun reach around. Yeah, and it's never consensual either. That's the that's the doubly tough part. It just happens to you, and then you got to deal with it. And I don't get a settlement. How much of the numbers you look at impacted by touchdowns? Like would Johnson's numbers be a lot different if he scored a couple more? Yes, but it's also like, so for a receiver, not quite as much because running backs basically like if they get, first and one at the goal line, basically the assumption is a running back is going to score. So the EPA you gain from that, a running back isn't going to be that high. Whereas if Deontay Johnson is like, if he were targeted a lot within 10-yard line, it would be affected theoretically because the assumption would be on a 1st and 8, at the 8, you're going to score 4 expected points or something. So you can't really add a lot of value to it. But I do think with him, like he's not targeted that kind of way anyway. So I don't think so. But if he broke more plays and scored more touchdowns, yes. But he just didn't catch touchdowns on like basic plays that he should have made anyway. So I don't think it would be affected other than him hurting himself more. So he hurt himself more, yes, but he wouldn't be impacted positively. He would just become like an average player then. And he would need to keep his volume as an average player, which is often the hard part if you are an average player. Pickett and Tua go incredibly early. Fucking Cam Loco's third QB. Are we at the point? I don't think Pickett was a snipe, right? No, he's not. But I want to throw my hat in solidarity for this guy Cam Loco just blowing up the room with bad picks. And why is it the guy? I don't want him to be the Pickens guy. I don't want the guy who's an idiot to take Pickens. Pickens went to a bad home here. At least he's stacked, I guess. Terrible team. Terrible, terrible team. Yeah, no, I think it's fair. Like, I think once you start to ask questions around the analytics stuff, it's still, it's hard for me to even explain some of the stuff as adequately as I'd like to, because my knowledge base is still, like X amount, like you always can learn more. But yeah, like I think the main thing for him is like, if a jump ball receiver who gets a lot of those targets there, like they would sort of be affected more by the positive and negative swings than Deontay would. But we'll see. Like again, Deontay, it might just be a symptom of the offense, like where they were using him like Keyshawn Johnson type, Michael Thomas type more than he probably deserved. And maybe he can be more of a downfield guy. It's certainly possible, though. A-dot is usually the stickiest thing in the receiver's career. And like Deontay hasn't shown that he's like a 15 A-dot guy like he has so far in the preseason. We'll see. It did almost feel like a bread hat time, but I haven't been personally affected yet. I'm going to be affected by the trickle down of this. Like the trickle down of this is what's going to hurt me. But maybe, I don't know if you guys see a certain play on the board that could maybe save me from the trickle down effects that we're so worried about. Oh, yeah. Anthony Richardson time. Who cares about QB snipes from other idiots when we can get Anthony Richardson? We don't even care if we stack him up. Sure, we'd like to. With this receiver room, I don't even think I have to. So let's get that jersey on. Let's put them clothes on, baby. People want to see other streamers get naked out there. They want to see me add clothes. That's how you know I'm crushing. All right. Let's go. Jersey's on. Jersey's on. Easy smash. Jersey time. I'm not going to. This is rude. Could use another running back here. A.J. Dillon will correlate a little bit with our Christian Watson team so far. Superstar at QB with Anthony Richardson, J.K. Dobbins, David Montgomery. We have Stephon Diggs, Garrett Wilson, Amari Cooper, Dallas Goedert, Christian Watson, Tyler Lockett, and A.J. Dillon. This is a Spags team. This is a Spags team if you've ever seen one. You would look at this team in a lineup and you'd go, this is the kind of team that this guy who knows ball would build. You know it. I hope I run into AR and Indy someday just to tag Spags. I hope you do too. Tell him that you know somebody who's stood by his side like a dutiful housewife in the 50s. He and I, we were riding and dying in this one. Oh, guess sure the jersey will smell. I mean, the jersey would have smelled anyway because it'll be right next to me as I am sparking up here. But yeah. Oh man, these drafts are flying by though, because the guys like Cam Loco just drafting QB after QB. We don't even have to think about our picks. We're having a lot of fun. I'm sure we already talked about his captain status. I didn't know he was named captain. That's fantastic news. I do. So again, I've talked a little bit about me playing in Madden. The captain thing reminds me because in the Madden Superstar mode, which is like their equivalent of like 2K's My Player, your character is named Cap. So my team, I told you guys I got drafted to the Titans. We went 16-1. We ended up winning the Super Bowl. No big deal. Obviously, you'd expect that from a player of my caliber. The one game we lost was me losing to Anthony Richardson's team, not because of AR, because Jonathan Taylor ran for 215 yards against my defense, which I don't play. I just simulated. So if you want to go off of Madden simulations, it does feel like AR could probably use Jonathan Taylor and in pocket there. Yeah, the wheels are up. He's a leader, man. Like that's one thing they've said about him, and that's what gave me a lot of faith that the likelihood of a Jamarcus Russell wasn't there. Was that the early articles about him were about how he would like be driving his little stepbrother to school, like basically like on his bike handles, driving a kid to school, or biking him to school because like he had to do that every day as part of his responsibilities. And he also he wanted to be a fireman, so he was going to go to fireman school if the football stuff didn't work out for him. And he's cleaned up after that one rookie summit thing. He just seems like a good dude. Like he seems like a good dude. So hopefully he is. I'd like him to be a good dude. I want to keep rooting for him. Is stochastic still a thing? Yes, stochastic is still a thing. Hopefully it will still be a thing on Sundays because I'm supposed to be doing the deeper dive show with Lofty and Bendis here. So hopefully it's still a thing. Yes. A beautiful housewife from the 50s. Spags, you impressed the shit out of me, and I mean that wholeheartedly. Thank you, Carlos. I'm sure you're just buttering me up, so I'll let some players fall back to you. You might want, but I appreciate it. Got to spin a yarn here on stream, baby. We're not doing quite 8 hours today, but we're doing enough time where we got to put out some pleasant words. Which stacks have the best playoff schedule? So I don't care about playoff schedule as much. I do know that the dome ones are going to be more favorable, so that does mean Indianapolis is going to look pretty good. I think, does Green Bay also have a run of only indoor games? Green Bay or Minnesota does, but obviously the Week 17 one's the one that matters. But I only care about Week 17 games. I find it to be minus EV to worry about the entire schedule. If you have it somewhere and you look at it as like a bonus correlation, great. But I want the pure uncut Week 17 stuff is always my angle here. Oh, we can get 2 ARs. Double the ARs, double the pleasure. Aaron Rodgers, come on down. I am not a big Aaron Rodgers drafter. I actually have less than 3 shares of him in Best Ball Mania, I learned, which surprises me because I am above the field on Garrett Wilson. And I probably should connect those bets more. But I think that Aaron Rodgers can get beat by a lot of QBs in his range. And as we saw last year, he can create high fantasy value for both running backs and receivers without actually being good himself. So I think that could be the case this year for the Jets. But I will take him here because he's here and was after ADP. AR5 and AR8. This is the team. When you get more ARs, how could you not? Add Amari Rodgers on, yes. Increase the correlation. Gonna try to get a nap and wake up on the 10th. Just take a bunch of pills and see how it goes. All right, we got a 2-3-5-1. Jordan Love is not likely coming back, but at this point, we don't really need him. So we will probably eschew that. I think that Elijah Mitchell rounds out this team best. So let's go that way. AR is the team leader so far. ARX2, of course, Aaron Rodgers and Anthony Richardson. They've merged to become one person, one super AR. J.K. Dobbins, David Montgomery, Stephon Diggs, Garrett Wilson, Amari Cooper, Dallas Goedert, Christian Watson, Tyler Lockett, A.J. Dillon, Aaron Rodgers, and then Eli Mitchell. So 2-4-5-1. Probably need one more running back coming up soon, and then we should be okay with the room, and I can tack on some late guys to get to 6, maybe 7. So many ARs. You think this would be the NRA or that one kid's basement? I worry about that so much here in the Pennsylvania area because, like, you know, I think we're in a mostly liberal area, but I know we're not far from free swinging gun turf in Pennsylvania, and I just don't want Luka going to gun kids' houses because he's a fucking little mook. If he can't keep himself from grabbing shit on our table, and he's also seen bubble machine guns and stuff, I think a gun would look very appealing to him if he goes somewhere else. A lot of AR and DK do. The idiot QB sniper is not complaining about it, though. He's the bailout. I mean, he's a bailout if you don't get an elite QB. He's a bailout if you're getting sniped. The issue, though, is that if AR is like an apex predator at QB, and not the Deshaun Watson style, I'm talking like Randy Orton style, then AR will probably be a guy that brings Michael Pittman with him, and you have to make the choice on Pittman before you get AR. And as we've seen from the data that Bobby Stats tool that we talked about on Underdog, Pittman drafted a lot less with AR than Alec Pierce is because people take Richardson are like, well, I can do him unstacked or I can take Pierce. As a result, I do think that the AR Pittman teams have a little bit more juice and hard to ignore too. 33% target per out run rate or target rate rather for Michael Pittman so far this preseason. So I think that bodes well. One bet that I feel pretty good about. He's a little boy. He's just a little, he's a little fucking buffoon still. He's really good at saying words and stuff. Like he can now say his name, which is really cute. And could say purple and yellow and but you have to like, you know, point to the color and kind of get him there. But he's smart, but he's still like a boy. Like he's like a classic boy who wants to climb things and probably is going to injure himself quite a bit in the future. He also is sleeping like shit right now, 18-month sleep regression. So he's fully on my shit list, let alone the wife's. Loving all the wrestling today. Thank you. It's just, yeah, got to weave it into the culture. I was actually watching the Bray Wyatt tribute video on social media today. The one where they had the guys and the gals talking about him. I was like, oh man, this is hard to watch. People dying, especially when you start to get an age where people dying are younger than you. And like, that hurts me, but Bray Wyatt is such a creative guy. Very sad to see. The tributes have been very touching though. Love a good tribute. Kids are morons. No shame in shaming them. It's true. Big old buffoons. That's what we want to raise. Big old buffoons who don't know that they should be eating food. Fucking idiots. Absolutely terrible. The city where Justin Fields is from, Kennesaw, guns are required by law. Is that really a thing? How could you require someone? Doesn't that fly in the face of the entire enterprise? It's pretty crazy. Do another DK $10 after this. Yes, I will. Yes, I will, Viking Nomad. You'll have your shot. All right, let's get one more player in here. Jordan Love falls. I think we're just going to scoop him up, make it a 3 QB build because I got to tell you, I'm not a big fan of one of these ARs. So let's do it. We got the bet on A.J. Dillon, have the bet on Christian Watson. So we will take our guy there, Jordan Love. And now we're done at QB, absolutely. And I see another tasty treat at running back. Roschon Johnson. Yep. Roshan makes sense in this build because we don't have one of the other Bears running backs. Team so far going to be AR, the real AR, Anthony Richardson, J.K. Dobbins, David Montgomery, Stephon Diggs, Garrett Wilson, Amari Cooper, Dallas Goedert, Christian Watson, Tyler Lockett, A.J. Dillon, Aaron Rodgers, Eli Mitchell, Jordan Loves. The Packers, it's like Star Trek The Next Generation. You got the future, the present, it's all there coming together with Rodgers and Love. And Roshan Johnson. And we'll probably take one more running back at least at some point, but it doesn't have to be now. So that's good. Not going to get Luke Musgrave on this team, which probably matters less because we have Dallas Goedert. But I wouldn't mind getting Luke Musgrave. As I've talked about, the Packers bet where you have Jordan Love, Christian Watson, one of the running backs, ideally Dillon, and Luke Musgrave. I think that's the pure uncut Packers stuff. So, but we're not. Musgrave is too popular now. Musgrave has gotten steamed up. There we go. There goes Musgrave. A couple picks after. One more with the joint. That's the plan here. So we got 4 more rounds, and I have to figure out how to light this joint without it blowing away in the fans' breeze. But we're going to do it. Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot I have to add on Malik Heath. Honestly, is he in the player pool? I'll put him in the queue. I'll put him in the queue for the 20th round. All right, Malik Heath is in the queue. We're going to be a Malik Heath household. The new Romeo Dobbs, Malik Heath. I just got back and saw the jersey. Let's go. JT won't make me sad. Go Colts. JT needs to fucking just get his ass in gear and start getting some easy handoffs from AR. But I feel like some of the articles, man, I don't know how this is going to go, JT. Like, I still think you should buy the dip here and there if it aligns at a pocket where you don't like any other players on the board and he's there at 70, 60, whatever. But man, like, it feels like the Colts thing might be broken and not great. So somebody's got to humble themselves, and it feels like the Colts have done it enough, maybe with some of their quotes. And I don't think Taylor's gonna. I worry about that pick. I don't have enough that I'm worried about with like my bags. I hate the early picks where I took them in the first round or end of the first round when that was a thing when BBM opened. But yeah, it's hard for me to even like. I don't even know where you put him if you were to rank him. I think you put him in the 70s and just go like, at this point, it's worth the shot that he plays. And if he's like your 0 RB start, like that's probably still fantastic, but very possible like he just fucking holds out and now the Colts don't have any leverage to not pay him. I don't know. Let's answer this question. Where did JT go in this one? Where is that boy? 5'11" is where JT went in this one. Ignore the ultimate 0 RB team in the 2-hole. Oh, wow. So he's starting his running back run with Devin Singletary. Got to respect it. The funny thing is, like, this isn't even a great receiver room. And he got sniped on Joe Burrow. He got sniped on Joe Burrow. Slash didn't take him when he was supposed to. It's a terrible team. It's a terrible auto draft team. Nice to see auto draft, though, go in 0 RB because auto draft, I feel like, usually goes the opposite when it's picking things. Le'Veon Bell, 2018 still spooks you. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit different, I think, because he is under contract and now putting him on the PUP list makes the contract's time start, I believe, is what I was trying to figure out, like what the CBA stuff was when reading a little bit yesterday. We got Alec Pierce here, so he'll be our 6th receiver. No issue with that. That aligned ADP-wise. Alec Pierce, just so cheap on DraftKings. Like, I know people maybe don't like him as much as I do, but the fact that he goes 40 picks ahead or 30-ish, 35 on Underdog than he does on DraftKings just doesn't make sense, especially with the 100-yard bonus. Like, Pierce can have 2 long plays and break a 100-yard bonus too. And we're doing some LA Night. Let me talk to you. Yeah. All right. Let's see what Star Fox does. Rashid Shaheed for Star Fox. Is this another Taysom Hill team? Is this going to add to our... I can't stop taking Taysom at this range. He makes so much sense now that Musgrave is gone. So I'm getting my Taysom Hill exposure deep and heavy at this point. Team so far going to be Anthony Richardson, J.K. Dobbins, David Montgomery, Stephon Diggs, Garrett Wilson, Amari Cooper, Dallas Goedert, Christian Watson, Tyler Lockett, A.J. Dillon, Aaron Rodgers, Eli Mitchell, Jordan Love, Roshan Johnson, Alec Pierce, and Taysom Hill. Strong run here. And we get 2 white guy pass catchers here in these rounds. So how could you argue it, right? White guy pass catchers. They're back, baby. Taysom time. Love Ellie Knight. Are you on the bandwagon? I'm not on the bandwagon so much. I do think he's not good enough of a worker to justify the push he's getting. But I think if he tops out, with a guy who like wins the US title, goes against Roman Reigns, loses, maybe it pushes him over the top. But he's like, there's something missing for me with him. But if the crowd's like fucking loving him, give the crowd what they want. So the issue with WWE is that they didn't give the crowd what they wanted for so long. Now they're finally doing it now that it's Triple H calling things. This team is stacked. Thank you. I accept that. I'm all Taysomed out. I was Taysomed out when he was going in the 150s. If he's going to go in the 170s, 180s in every draft, and he could be part of a 3 tight end build, I think that's awesome. I think that's an awesome way to get Taysom Hill. So I'm happy to get him. But yeah, if you were taking him in the 140s, 150s, I don't think that made sense personally. But it's all about like the things moving. Like now we don't have Laporta. Now we don't have Musgrave. We barely have Mayer hanging on those late rounds. So you got to take somebody else in those late rounds. And if we're just going for pure upside, like I'll take Taysom Hill giving me at least one 20-point week this year. And in a 20-round draft on DraftKings, perfect stuff. All right, we got 4 rounds coming up here, 4 picks coming up left. Then we will spark our little friend here, our big friend. He's pretty thick, right? Now we'll close out DraftKings for the week the right way, with me losing touch with reality. That's what we're looking for. 5 checks out. Thank you, Katie. Shout out the ladies. Always good to see women in best ball coming up. My girl Hope. Love what Hope's been doing with Davis Pang all offseason. I think they've been doing a good job of their drafts too. Whenever I have the screen open to see their thing coming up on the YouTube app, check them out. It's been a fun year of best ball, guys. Hopefully you guys have had fun with it too. I know people have like been in the chat talking about mental exhaustion and stuff and how do you finish the drafts out. And I think it can certainly get ahead of you, especially once you feel the bankroll adding up and you're not going to see that money no matter what you do for another 4 or 5 months. But definitely a time of year where I think nice to celebrate the community parts of it. Best ball is the best community in the world. Still right now, it's still better than DFS, still better than betting and all that stuff. And we'll see how it goes next year when you get even more stragglers coming in. Flush that devil's lettuce and call your sponsor. There we go. Thank you for commenting on the thickness of my cone. By the way, I didn't even make the joint. I didn't even do it myself. I have the raw cones because I don't trust myself to do fucking paper anymore. Fumbling around with the paper as always. This is gonna be another Michael Mayer team if Carlos allows it. Michael Mayer, come on down. Love the correlation with AR. I will have more of AR and Michael Mayer than AR with any Colts tight end for that week 17 correlation. And as we've seen, Jelani Woods going on IR, going to be out at least the first 4 weeks. So that hamstring strain for him, pretty bad stuff for old Jelani Woods. So Kylan Grant's going to start the year there. Jelani Woods, probably not a dead pick. He was always going in the 18th round, maybe 17th if you got unlucky. So wouldn't worry about Jelani Woods, but definitely really wouldn't be taking him. Maybe 20th round on DraftKings if you want to do it. All right, we do have this little bet on Cleveland. Jerome Ford back in practice looking good. So we will take Jerome Ford here. Let's read the team out. 3-6-6-3 build. So pure functional flexibility here moving forward. Anthony Richardson, J.K. Dobbins, David Montgomery, Stephon Diggs, Garrett Wilson, Amari Cooper, Dallas Goedert, Christian Watson, Tyler Lockett, A.J. Dillon, Aaron Rodgers, Eli Mitchell, Jordan Love, Roshan Johnson, Alec Pierce, Taysom Hill, Michael Mayer, Jerome Ford. Not as matchy for week 17 as I would normally like. Obviously, we do have a few bringbacks here. Could probably use a few more. Some Cleveland Jets correlation. That feels pretty good. But definitely a little thin on the week 17 game stacks, I think. But I got enough talent in that it doesn't matter. You can't always have perfect week 17 game stacks. Can't always get your QBs. Just still trying to draft good players and good structure overall, I think is the main thing. My Virgin Best Ball year. Thanks for making it memorable and popping my cherry Spags and the Squirt Squad. Shout out to OG1 Kenobi. I know there's a lot of people out there that have said this is the first year they're doing it. And I think it's the most fun process. And also the one too, where you're just not missing out on tremendous amounts of edge. If you don't have certain products or certain projections. So I think it's all about the work you put in. I'd swear by it. Bullock, based on the results you get, I would hope it is. Ha ha! The guy who knows ball. Ribbon in the locker room. Some classic locker room talk here. This really feels like the 19th round, too. Evan Hull going in the 18th now. Gee whiz. Mac Hollins, 18th. Still think for me, 19th, 20th round. We already took Terrace Marshall once. Trey Palmer, another one I would take. With JSN back, probably can't do any Jake Bobo shares. But Jake Bobo, vaguely interesting. Mechie falling this much. I think Mechie just has closing line value at this point, where if you take him, a lot of people took him way earlier in other drafts. So Mechie probably also okay. Josh Downs, wouldn't mind if he comes back. First year also thought I'd try a few drafts, 80 drafts ago. Oh, 80 drafts ago. Yeah. I mean, like 80 drafts is a lot. You know, I've crested past 500. So we all have our numbers, but no shame in any of them. The more you do, the better you get. That's all I can say. So if you can afford it, do a lot of them. If you got the time. Isaiah McKenzie gets drafted here. Should not get drafted ahead of Josh Downs because he got cut and then brought back on the active roster, which you got to think is not great for your potential to have a meaningful role. Bobo Bolick over Jake Bobo. Jake Bobo. Jake Bobo is a tall guy, played well at UCLA. I've not looked at best ball on Yahoo, though I'd presume that much like drafters, probably having a tough time filling. There's always overlay for regular Yahoo fantasy, so I'd presume there probably would be a good amount for best ball. But no, they're in FanDuel. If they're not going to put any effort in for it, I'm not going to put any effort. If they're not going to try to earn it for me, I'm not going to go, hey, go ahead, take advantage of me, Yahoo. Like you gotta be like drafters and reach out and tell me why you're good and have a compelling pitch. I don't think Yahoo does. All right, Josh Downs will be one of our picks. We'll get one more receiver in. We've already got 6, so 2 more would feel good. Josh Downs, and then hopefully we'll get Malik Heath on the way back. Hopefully nobody in chat's thinking, I'm going to snipe this Malik Heath. Fuck this Bobo shiz. Tyler a jack-off wagon. I'm glad you guys have your pet names for each other. That's what the Squirt Squad's all about. All right, Malik Heath to round it out. Final team review. Anthony Richardson, J.K. Dobbins, David Montgomery, Stephon Diggs, Garrett Wilson, Amari Cooper, Dallas Goedert, Christian Watson, Tyler Lockett, A.J. Dillon, Aaron Rodgers, Eli Mitchell, Jordan Love, Roshan Johnson, Alec Pierce, Taysom Hill, Michael Mayer, Jerome Ford, Josh Downs, Malik Heath. It is an interesting team. This team has like a lot of nice texture to it. Some values that I think are no longer values. Some guys overall that have fallen a lot, but probably shouldn't have fallen as much as they did, given that Jerome Ford, again, is back in practice. So I am down for this one. And now I have to pull the jersey off. Now we have to do our process here. All right. I'm going to load another room. I'm going to reset in terms of my clothing. And it's 420 somewhere, right, guys? So let's do that part too. So I'll load the room. I'll try to light this up. I'm going to try to also reconfigure myself because slouching. All right. Answering the room now. Again, you guys know the deal. $10 to win $1 million. That is the DraftKings Best Ball promise. Okay. Answering right now. And I have my little golden pineapple ashtray here. So if you are playing along at home, spark one up in the good name of Best Ball. Let's do this. Hopefully I can light it. Oh, yeah, we're doing it, boys. Boys and girls. The exclusive community of best ball. It's not just for the fellas anymore. Oh, I'm going to be doing this entire draft, waving my hand like this, like I'm a delicate woman in the 50s, holding a slender cigar. How many times will I have to relight it? You got to wonder. Probably a lot. Probably a lot. Oh, yeah. Who's just watching a stream to watch a guy get baked? You are, and I appreciate you for it. Again, guys, if you're new around here, I'm going to do this with my left hand, so this is going to go well. Please make sure to subscribe down below. Hit the like button, leave a comment. Splash Play is the cool show of best ball where we just vibe out, hit some joints, draft some teams. No big deal. Just chill vibes always. I never get angry. I'm just the guy that loves ball, knows ball, and also loves the process of this too. So please join here on Splash Play. And again, if you are new to drafting, go out on Drafters. Check that out. Promo code SPLASH. $100 deposit match for you up to $100. Hard to argue with that kind of with that kind of deal. Of course, you could also use the promo code SPLASH100, double your deposit, or get 20% deposit match up to $500. They're not doubling your deposit with SPLASH100, but with the promo code SPLASH, they are. So please check that out. Bad boy best ball. Just chewing on this smoke. I'm an aristocrat. Hopefully do not get demonetized. I don't think YouTube cares about an hour 40 in, right? Back to being a woman in the 50s. It's, as I always am. FF Doom couldn't make it. It's too popular here. We do have some names, though. We got Chunk the Deuce, I believe, in here. I got Left in Pieces again. Got Carlos again. So we got some regulars, and everybody's in the overdraft rooms. Sorry to hear it. Oh, man, it fucking smells of weed in here. Oh, boy. Oh, got to relight. This is good, though, because this will give me a breather. I'll relight it after my pick. I do, boy, I got to tell you, man, it is fun to just fucking be doing. I could see why comedians would do that, where they would smoke cigarettes on stage. That shit feels good. That's feeling phenomenal. Thank you. It's hard with the joint just sitting here. Absolutely. Can you blow that the other direction, catch it a contact high? That's if you can get a contact high through the screen, man, you know. That's how you know Splash plays. It's thriving. All right. I got the ball here too. Pete would be ashamed. Pete's now a brand. He can't be doing things like this. Spags is doing punk rock best ball still. On the clock. Bijan went. Cooper Kupp falling. Vibes are immaculate. Say Cooper Kupp. Let's relight. Can we actually pick Cooper Kupp here? There we go. Now we're clicking things. All right. Let's get this lit back up here. I hope I can keep it going for another 40 minutes. I don't know if I'm absolutely going to kill this joint before 420. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the good stuff. So what do you guys... I feel like we're really having a casual conversation now. Just me and you out on a stoop, having a good time. So what do you guys think about best ball? Like, where do you think the industry is going? You think it's going to be like Sims? It's going to be all sim bots doing drafts for these guys out there. Guys like Brick just crushing us in best ball. That's been my fear for best ball the last few years. And now it's also like, you know, he like Brick tried to make a product that would help draft for you, and Underdog shut it down. So clearly the sites are trying to avoid that. Are we going to reach like a critical crossroads? You guys tell me. Oh man, this is the kind of draft I want to do every week. Maybe get Eli. Oh no! I think I'm smoking the weed cool. I'm not going. I'm not smoking like fucking Matthew McConaughey in True Detective in the GIF. I'm not doing that. This is pretty chill. Do a Friday montage, like from the film Friday, or a montage on Friday. Anyway, Harold and Kumar was a great fucking movie. To go back to a previous point, one of my favorites. Watched that in college so many times. All right, we got Cooper Kupp. Saquon Barkley goes, so I won't be tempted to do that week 17 correlation, which is a positive for me. Wouldn't mind Kupp and Adams, but I think Carlos will probably take Adams here. Would be my guess, unless he reaches for somebody. What is Carlos going to do? All right, he takes Devontae Adams. The logical thing to do. Cooper Kupp and Jalen Waddle. Is that unique? Probably not now. Ugh, just like I don't want any of these elite QBs. I have Kupp and Olave. Let's do Kupp and Waddle. We'll see what we get back. Not going to get, I guess I might get one of Lamar or Andrews back. Not likely. They're not going to get Andrews back. Never mind. Whatever. Did took somebody different, man. I don't know. Oh, I got to keep relighting this bitch. Fucking fan that keeps putting it out. Okay, we're back. Just unbelievable, man. Cooper Kupp and Jalen Waddle, though. Hard to argue with that start. Honestly, though, you can give me any two receivers in the first 2 rounds. If we're being real here, now that I'm smoking this joint, you give me any two receivers in the first 2 rounds, and I'd be like, it's hard to argue with that start. Because that's how much I hate running backs. Whew. I should mute when I hack up a lung. Hold on. Oh man, joints just hit. You vape all the weed you want, but you hit a joint, and all of a sudden it's like fucking God. You need to run a marathon to stay in physical condition to smoke a joint. Fans doing wilt numbers on the joint. And look, it's making it hard. It's certainly increasing the needle, the thread for this. And I did pack it a little too tight. That is correct. I'll just keep lighting it up. The production value of these streams just keep going up. Can't believe you got smoke machines. It's true. This is all CGI. That's the thing that you can't prove it. You can't prove this isn't pre-recorded AI where I just put in the effects of it all. Mahomes goes to Jake. Lou gets Jahmyr Gibbs at the turn. What will be left for Spags? Who will come to be part of my squad? Now, this is how you draft best ball. Thank you, Rod. Thank you. I love seeing new names who are on board with this as a concept. Because it feels pretty naked to put yourself out there just fucking smoking weed doing a stream. I'm happy to do it. But now, like, we have enough people watching. Like, back in the early days of Splash Play, I would have done this in a heartbeat without a care in the world. Now we actually have people who come and watch. One guy, like, tweeted me and was like, I got to binge watch some Spags videos to, like, get prepped for football season. I'm like, that's fucking awesome you would say that. But also, holy shit. I can't believe that you would do that. All right, we're on the clock here. No Baltimore coming back, of course. Why would there be? Let's get DK Metcalf. He's one of our guys. Again, it's hard to argue with the start with Cooper Kupp, Jalen Waddle, and DK Metcalf. I guess I should have made 2 joints. That's on me. That's on me. I didn't think. Like, if I do a stream with a beer, I'll bring in 2 beers. And here I am with 1 joint showing up to the party without enough to share with the class. Who is Spag? What is Spags? Superior players in great spots. Remember those rankings on Football Outsiders? Probably not likely to be back if I had to. Ooh, daddy. Ooh, daddy. I expect the stream to go down like when you played WWE clips. I hope not. I think this is legal. This is medicinal, man. I'm all anxious. I'm all anxious drafting on DraftKings for 3 straight. Oh, boy. I can't blow rings. I'll try to blow a ring. No, that's not rings. The fan is not helping with that either. But the good news is whoever wants to Photoshop me out there now has a GIF of me basically doing a blowjob action. So do what you will. Do what you will with it. Okay, let's take a break from this. Let's try to make it last. Let's make it last. Whoa. No, we're not that kind of stoner. Father needs his medicine. There we go. Was about to join the Squirt Squad. Just joined Pete's. Ben, you are welcome on the Squirt Squad any day now. Pete doesn't have a cool helmet. He's got his little medallions for you. But that's more like, if we're being real here, kind of seems a little Nazi-ish. But a helmet with a squirt emoji next to it. Now that's the kind of thing that supports individuality and won't argue with naysayers. Never. All right. Cooper Kupp, Jalen Waddle, DK Metcalf. George Pickens would be crazy. It'd be crazy to draft George Pickens here, right? It'd be an absolutely mad thing to do. It'd be insane. It'd be positively mad to draft George Pickens here, but we're going to do it because you know why? How many teams have DK Metcalf and George Pickens? Can't imagine there's a 1. Getting unique. Look how unique this team is. Spags, they don't have the join button on your channel on mobile? They should. I don't know. It should be down below. Hit the join button. That's what I say. Presuming it's there. I smoke 2 joints in time of peace and 2 in times of war. I smoke 2 joints before I smoke 2 joints. I smoke 2 more. I'm glad we're reading weed-based poetry here on the channel. Hot boxing, weed-based poetry. Me making mouth gestures that are only going to leave me subject to ridicule. Reaching for George Pickens in the 4th round. Entering Glizzy overdrive. That's not there on mobile, huh? Well, you gotta earn it, I guess. That's bullshit. Let them transact. Let the people join on mobile. That's what I say. Let them eat cake and let them join on mobile. But only one of those gets me $4.99 a month. If you eat cake, I get no cut of that. I don't even get a cut of the cake. Jonathan Taylor's still on the board. Remember when everybody thought he was going to go to the Dolphins? Remember when people were betting their entire seasons on him going to the Dolphins and then they were wrong? And then the Dolphins said, yeah, you know what? We're actually going to cut another running back. And also our other one's hurt. Pretty funny how that worked. You fools. All right, we're on the clock. Cup, Waddle, Metcalf, Pickens. These are all football players. I know that because I know ball. I don't fucking know. I don't want any of these guys at all. I'll take Lockett because we got this bet on Seattle, but I won't take Kenneth Walker. We're Team Charbonnet. I don't like Kenneth Walker at all, and I'm tired of hearing positive things about him. He wasn't good last year. He broke a couple big plays. Yeah, we like that. But I want a guy who's going to be good every time he touches the ball. I don't want guys who are going to lose yards. I don't want negative EPA players. Don't want none. Kenneth Walker's stats last year. See, I could still do both. Doesn't matter if I'm smoking joints. Negative 0.07 EPA per rush. Boo. Negative 0.4 EPA per target. Boo. Negative 12% rushing DVOA. Boo. Negative 11.5% receiving DVOA. Boo. He's not good. Zach Charbonnet's good at all those things. That's one of these things. I've not dug my heels in as much on that bet. He will be getting more touches per game than Kenneth Walker by week 17. Zach Charbonnet will. He's just the better back. Just the better back. I don't know. Yeah, somebody that had to be an auto. Actually, this is a reasonable range for Taylor. You can make the case at this point. Oh, GA always quick to, other channels have the join button on mobile. La-di-da. Like, I'm choosing this. Like, I would say, you know what, guys? The one thing that's a bridge too far for me is you joining this channel on mobile. But I think you don't necessarily get the Apple tax from anything on mobile. It's if you go through the iOS store. Because I know that because I was a YouTube premium member through the iOS store. And then they were like going to raise rates because Apple charges too much money. For probably, we're just doing Stripe. We're not. And I guess when we're in the App Store, then we're fucked and we have to do the thing anyway. I don't know. You got to pay the fucking tax. You got to pay. Apple built themselves a pretty sweet deal. This is going to make me want to fucking smoke more weed. Apple really has built themselves a really good deal where they just get a cut of everything forever because they got us trapped on these things. And why can't another company make anything good? I know we have your Android sycophants out there, but let's be real. It's weird. It's not an iOS. It's not. I need that. I need the mainstream. I need the Coca-Cola of operating systems. I don't want your fucking RC Cola shit, your Jolt Cola nonsense on Android. All right. See, that felt like a weird looking drag. I think because I put my hand up on the thing. Felt like I was getting teabagged by it. All right. Okay, thank you, GA. I'm glad you're on my side here. I know sometimes we go at loggerheads. All right. We got 5 receivers. No other position, even a question at this point. Really, this team is just vibes. And I think we knew that. I think we knew it was going to come to this. Madison, an okay discount at this point. Jerry Jeudy ahead of his current ADP. Probably doesn't make sense. Let's take Madison. Really wish we had gotten Christian Watson in this build for that one, but it's okay. The team so far: Cooper Kupp, Jalen Waddle, DK Metcalf, George Pickens, Tyler Lockett, Alexander Madison at a slight discount. It's a team. The joints out. Well, good. We'll keep it here. Well, I'll keep lighting it as it seems appropriate. That feels right. That feels right. I feel my eyes, by the way. Here we can go. I mean, okay, well, if I do it like that, it's gonna look stupid. But I do think my eyes are getting a little bit red, a little bit dried out. So for anybody that's really looking for the CGI that we're doing on my eyes now you got it. Can't believe the draft season's almost over, man. Like, this has been nuts. This has been going since January here on the channel. Like, I can't believe I've put this much work into one sport for this much time. Really just throws me for a loop, because this is like, I always, jump into football early by the modern standards of what it is. But the fact that this is now the second the regular season ends, you just start a new process again. Exciting, invigorating, incredible to reflect upon that this is what we've chosen with our lives. Post-stream spicy chicken deluxe, possibly. The wife made awful sausage and peppers yesterday, and I refuse to eat it as a leftover, so I'll be fending for myself tonight. That's where we are. Total entry fees. I mean, BBM is what, 3,800, so that'll be that. Another 1,500 on DK. And then just in general, let's say probably another 1,000. So whatever that math was. Like 6K-ish, I guess. Didn't do too much like of the puppies and all that this year. I did do a few high stakes things, but not a lot. The Football Outsiders payroll situation made me probably go a little more conservative on bankroll. I probably would have thrown in a few more high stakes if I hadn't been completely dealing with that. All right. Miami, Seattle, Pittsburgh. We got correlation with that stuff. Rams here, nothing going to pop up. Jerry Jeudy falling. Michael Pittman here. Yeah, baby. Team so far: Alexander Madison, Cooper Kupp, Jalen Waddle, DK Metcalf, George Pickens, Tyler Lockett, Michael Pittman. And I see an AR in my future. Some say that drugs reveal your true self. It may shock you to hear my true self wants to draft Anthony Richardson at probably the next pick, I guess. Will be the way that goes. Ben, I also get comp some entries too. So but yeah, no. I mean, my big expense is always DFS week to week. Like DFS, I pop, I don't know. I don't want to commit to a number, but DFS will probably be 10. Like, let's say I completely lose everything week to week. I'd be throwing in 10K in bankroll in DFS to start the year. So that's always my bigger expense. But yeah, I don't entry fee shame. I like maxing out the big ones is like, to me, the barrier to entry. Maxing out puppies and shit, like I just can't. I just don't have the I don't have the energy or the time or the will. But I think if I were like in Pat or Liam's spot, like they should probably enter, especially Pat, where he's trying to just get the taxable number down. You enter every high stakes one you can. You probably enter every tournament you can, even if you're auto drafting. I would never want to auto draft teams either. I just think that kind of defeats the purpose. But grinders do. Sad. Feels like the last days of summer camp. We had great times, some bad times. Some of us have been violated in cruel ways. It's going to be tough saying goodbye. It's true. I hope people, I hope the transition to in season's a little bit easier this year, because I think, last year the best ball audience kind of fell off. But just so you guys are aware, like fantasy football continues on here. We will talk best ball. Sometimes I know Pete's going to be doing the same on his channel. And then DFS, I think that's probably an even stronger competency, especially with the showdown content that we did last year. So I hope you guys will hang out for that too. But, best ball can be a special time in our lives that we just regroup every year, meet here, and then kiss in the middle. That's what we do. That was what I did at the end of the year last year, because I had the couple of big showdown wins. The one in particular, the 25K one, is what put me over into a threshold that I was like, well, fuck it. I'm just going to play super aggressive DFS for the last 4 weeks of the season, and got it down to a more reasonable tax number. But obviously it would have been nice to win the money, win more money instead. But I think that does make sense as an approach. So we do have at least one QB option that makes sense right now. Honestly, we have so many QB options that make sense. And I'm going to push Anthony Richardson again. Let's take Tua first. We'll do that. This is going to be an aggressive 3 QB build, I think, potentially. At least an aggressive 2 QB build. Because I need to take either Geno or AR on the way back. Because I have the Seattle double. Obviously, don't want that to go to waste. But I also would love to take Anthony Richardson. This is a conundrum. A conundrum that only one thing I think can solve. Look at that theatricality. Oh boy. We're getting those plumes, baby. Wow. Would you rather not smoke all football season or have 0 shares of AR? This is actually a very cruel one. Um, I'd probably rather have 0 shares of AR just because when you are a tired parent and also a person who's generally a bit anxious, I would say that not having weed for an entire 6-month run would be pretty tough. Um, and the AR part, I think I would then just be like, well, I got to play him in DFS and I'll make an emotional hedge in best ball. So I could do the mental gymnastics for that one, but that's a cruel one. It's a real Sophie's choice. Oh, the joint didn't go out. That's side. This is, I gotta tell you guys again. I smoke weed like daily, so this is not like I don't want you to be surprised by that. That said, I am incredibly baked. Like the hot boxing aspect, plus the joint aspect, plus the energy, the nervous energy that comes up on a stream. We are vibing. We are vibing too hard. Some could say a little bit. The vibes are perhaps too heavy and thick in the room. That's just keeping it real. At the end of the day. Okay. We are ashing a little there. Let's make a pick. Let's draft some football players. That's what I like to do. All right. I mean, this is how can I not? How can I not? I feel like that's all I say now, but I don't care. Let's get that jersey back on. Let's not get any ash on it. Keep it in pristine condition. Earning this. I clock in and I earn this jersey with steadfast resistance to not draft Anthony Richardson. Doesn't matter how big the bags are. Let's go. The vibes are just right. You're just stony baloney. Stony baloney is such a 1950s insult. I love it very much. Good job, Joey. Let's go. Let's go. Gonna do a quick rundown on. Do I have to do that right now? The Football Outsider situation as it stands right now is the goal was to get things up and running for the season, to have an agreement with Aaron Schatz, the former editor-in-chief, to provide data. Unfortunately, there's some issues where he's gone on with business that is not fully agreed upon in the settlement that has to be done. So that's something that's hanging things up right now. But basically, they just had a lot of debts that accumulated from the previous regime. And then despite the fact that we had the most traffic ever, the most subs ever, which I was happy to be a large part of last year and driving the strategy with the reduced staff, basically they were still losing money. And then the Canadian markets fell apart, so they couldn't raise money. And the contractors went public. That didn't help either, with them kind of making a stink. Like the people who were kind of kicking in money week to week to keep things afloat were then like a little bit gun shy combined with the financial markets. So that's what it is. I think they're still going to get data out for the season, but I don't know. I'm just trying to get our staff paid back, and then hopefully that'll be like staff and previous staff paid back. And then from there, they can go where they go, and I'll go where I go. And I don't know. Fun time to talk about that, though. There's going to be a Defector article. The SVP of content and strategy stoned off his ass was talking about the business. And it's like, that's, these are all public things. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Really put on my politician hat there. Put on my Cody Rhodes hat for our wrestling fans. All right, we're on the clock here. Here's the thing, guys. We've got one running back. Like, how many do you need? How greedy do you have to be? At the same token, we've got all these receivers, and they need a partner to hang out with, and that's Geno Smith. So our third QB, we've got Tua Tagovailoa at QB, stacked up with Jalen Waddle, of course. Alexander Mattison is our lone running back. The receivers, though, Cooper Kupp, Jalen Waddle, DK Metcalf, George Pickens, Tyler Lockett, Michael Pittman. And then we get two more QBs, AR and Geno, because you know what? This is a passing league, guys. If you want to run the ball, so be it. You just need one running back, right? That's all it is. I hope that this undid any sobriety that people experienced. That jersey reeks of pasta and flour. It feels racist to say the first one. You can't just say the Italian guy smells like pasta. I'll allow it. That's not okay. You can't say that for other people. Jar it up for Charbs. I would have. Is he still? Yeah, he already went. I didn't see him on the board, so he wasn't a consideration. But hell of a 3 QB build, though. I think you can't argue this one. You could poke holes in my running back room, perhaps, if you want to be nitpicky about it. Persnickety and nitpicky is what I was going for, combined into one. I suppose you could poke holes in my running back room, but receivers and QBs, hard to argue. Underdog Superflex $2.10 max. There we go. Check it out. Use that promo code on there. If you just want to draft some $2 tournaments, use that promo code SPLASH. Good for them, man. Keep putting out new tournaments. That's fun. I think Nick Ricolano's getting another one, right? At least it looked like it based on a YouTube video that I saw on my subscription feed. All right, we got to draft some running backs coming up. I don't think they let you play with this few. You definitely don't accumulate points. But Madison's going to carry a lot of the load here. If he hits, he's basically a first-round pick. So if you think about it through that lens, I think this really starts to make sense. God, Jamal Williams. Honestly, we just need a floor, right? Because we got such sick receivers and QBs. Let's take Jamal Williams here. And then we'll take whatever other dog shit running back is available on the way back. And in the meantime, let's heal from the lack of running backs, I suppose. Oh, getting cotton mouth. Got to tell you. I smell like curry and grape swishers. All right, I guess you could say I smell like pasta then if you're willing to say that about yourself. So honestly, I should just reach for Elijah Mitchell. Like if we're going to go with a pure Spags, immaculate vibes kind of team, Mitchell is a better play than Jamal Williams, I think. Just in terms of having a real role and being able to hold on to it, you know, health willing. Because I'm growing my beard out, I have to worry about lighting my beard on fire, which doesn't fill me with joy. So what a stream that would be. If you get all this content and then I light my beard on fire by mistake. Wow. Views through the roof. But I don't want, oh, look at this oaf views. I want like, hey, this guy's pretty chill. We're like pals. I want those views. I don't want, haha, silly clown, poke, poke. Who wants that? Look at these idiots taking QBs now. They could have gotten 3 2 rounds ago. Oh, these fools. That should be your take for every player. If he hits, he's basically a first round. It's true, right? Like, if he pays off a first round price tag, this team is going to be smashing. So we're living in a world where Alexander Mattison is basically Bijan Robinson. And he's been waiting for this shot. He's been playing Madden Superstar mode like I've been. Oh, yeah. I don't think I could smoke on every stream. I think that would be a bit much. But damn if it isn't good this one time. Damn if it don't hit. I should take Kenny Pickett. I should just really embrace being a DraftKings drafter and take Kenny Pickett here. Oh, boy. That's a big hit. That's the kind of hit that makes you take Kenny Pickett when you don't need him at all. When he adds nothing to the team, really. But I guess if Pickens has a monster day, he probably takes Kenny Pickett with him. Here's the thing. Joey, sometimes you need a QB. Sometimes you just don't have enough QBs in your life. And again, we've already said that like Alexander Mattison and Jamal Williams are going to be basically first-round picks. So once you do that part of things, once you get there with that mental math, I think Kenny Pickett starts to make a lot of sense. We're going to take Devin Achane, though. So you're safe right now. Devin Achane is clearly undervalued on DraftKings, clearly more undervalued with this whole Jeff Wilson conundrum. That's what we call it when we're smoking a joint on a stream. That whole Jeff Wilson conundrum that people are dealing with out there. Okay, we'll take one more break here and hopefully have enough to smoke in 11 minutes. So this draft's going to be done, I think, in 11 minutes at this rate. Why do I picture this is what Spags does off the camera, smoke draft and talk to himself? No. I wouldn't talk to myself like this. This would be insane if I've just filled the air talking to myself for 2 hours and 10 minutes all baked off my ass. Would not be healthy for the house, I don't think. What's Deuce doing here? What's our boy Chunk the Deuce doing? He's in the 3-hole. He went double elite QB. So you just don't do that. I mean, like the way that I drafted QBs and plentifully makes a lot of sense. The way that Chunk did it here, it's just too much. Okay, running back room. Yeah, it's a solid team. Tony is the Cincinnati bring back. I do like that. But here's the issue is that our boy Chunk is going to take Deuce Vaughn and absolutely ruin the team. So that'll be bad for him. I do hope that Luca likes AR. I do hope that he likes him with the same fervor that he currently likes Bluey, where he demands to watch Bluey at all times. And I feel like I've gotten my son addicted to something. Don't love that. But if he's addicted to AR, then cool. He'll just be the coolest kid in school. Though honestly, though, he's really going to be an Eagles fan, and it's going to be very upsetting just because of how they fucking indoctrinate kids in the Philly area. I mean, Kenny Pickett just keeps falling, guys. Like, he just keeps falling. And we have 3-hole running backs. It just makes too much sense. I will take Gainwell. It's very hard to not click. Like, my brain sees one more QB stack. How could that hurt? How could that possibly be a bad thing? But I'll leave Pickett for the room. Okay, so the teams so far. Let's go back to reading teams. That'll help. Tua Tagovailoa, Alexander Mattison, Jamal Williams, Cooper Kupp, Jalen Waddle, DK Metcalf, George Pickens, Tyler Lockett, Michael Pittman, Anthony Richardson, Geno Smith, Devin Achane, Kenneth Gainwell. We've got running backs. We could have taken Kenny Pickett there as a luxury. Yeah, Luca just conflates Bluey and Bingo. I think he thinks they're the same organism somehow. Because he'll ask for Bingo. He has like a Bingo stuffed animal that I got, and then he'll say Blue Boy, and then it'll be referring to Bingo. So I think he just assumes they're like the Borg and they're all assimilated. Let's make that reference for the second time this week. I feel like Spags would write a Disney film in the 60s right now. I would love to write a parody style one. I think I'd be great at it. Lude for sure. Kirk was there in the 5th, but instead of Brees, and I think I feel a lot better about it. Didn't want T-Law, but he fell 20 past. That is the trap. That is the Trevor Lawrence trap. Love pushing Lawrence in the 70s and 80s, though. Do you think that's fun? But not when you already have another elite QB. That does make it a little bit tough to dig out of unless you're really nailing the players. And with how efficient ADPs are, at this point, 1 week before the season, pretty tough to thread that needle with 2 elite QBs. Deon Jackson going in the 14th. I just don't think that's the correct play. I feel like we're going to look back at the Deon Jackson bags like the poor version of the Brees Hall bags, where it's like, somebody came in, it's bad. Like, Deon Jackson's getting assumed for a role that's just a little too big for what he's going to get if Taylor comes back at all, let alone they sign a vet and just add another body in the mix. Again, I love the Colts, but that's way too steep for Deon Jackson. Or I'm legit going to take Kenny Pickett. Like, if the room is going to keep trolling me like this and leaving him on the board, that's their problem then, not mine. I deserve better. What's Carlos going to do? Does he want Kenny Pickett, maybe? I feel like Kenny Pickett's just left on the stand. Nobody wants to take this poor guy. Let's take one more running back. Though Kendre Miller's hurt. I'm not going to reach for Kendre Miller at this point. This is stupid. This is a stupid pocket. Let's take Jalen Hyatt for our bring back on Cooper Kupp. Need some tight ends. Need 2 more running backs, too. Think we are tapped at receiver officially. How many subs until I see some spag nips? Well, nobody needs this. Nobody wants this. If you want to see me smoking weed and being a fool, you get that. You want to see me drinking, being a fool, you get that. Even physical feats of strength, perhaps, you can get that. But nobody needs to objectify me. Who needs to objectify men? It's just an act of power. It's like the people that want to have the NPC people like repeating lines from a video game as though they're not a real person. You just want the power of it, the dominance of your money making somebody say the thing over and over again. I won't have it. I won't sell myself that short unless it's for a lot of money. Then I guess. Like if they were like, oh, the way you get fantasy flock views and everything, you don't have to change a single thing besides you going shirtless every single stream like Bert Kreischer. I guess I would do it. Like, I guess. But I just don't see that being the pathway. I think it'd be more like embarrassing boy titties rather than Bert Kreischer funny. Look at that. His belly's out. That's crazy. Like I don't think that's mine. There you go. At least he admits it. He admits it. All right, we're up in 2 picks here. We got no time for this Bullock funny business. Glad to see Kenny Pickett finally got somebody to take a chance on him. The one room in all the world that doesn't want Kenny Pickett is right here on DraftKings. We got fucking Deuce Vaughn there being an idiot. We got Gus Edwards here being trash. We'll take Gus. Let's get a running back. It's starting to feel like a Taysom Hill draft again. Starting to feel like we need a bailout at tight end with no tight ends through 15 rounds. And I feel like everybody good's gone too. All my precious rookies no longer there for me. I might as well just save this last bit of joint until 420. Home league draft tonight. I don't know. Take one running back in the first 3 rounds. I'd probably just take Bijan and then build out receivers. Unless you get the first pick, then obviously, take those guys. Home leagues that are stupid. I think we can all agree. But you're just playing median projections in a home league. Don't worry about correlating for week 17 in your home league either. Justice Hill in 20th feels better than Gus at this point. Yeah, Gus still feels like a role that's hard to fill. It's hard to be a big dude who runs in for touchdowns. Like that is, it's harder than we give credit for. And Gus, can have those 2 touchdown games. So it's Jamal Williams type. I think does always have some appeal to me in a 0 RB kind of format. So you take Gus, but if we're looking at just like pure upside, Justice Hill, I would say probably more pure upside. And I think Keaton Mitchell probably as a 20th pick, I think makes more sense than Justice Hill. Like he's actually got some juice. He's young. He's outperformed where they took him as an undrafted running back, and he had good numbers too. Had good avoid tackle rate. Sean Payton will trade for Taysom and start him over Russ. That's the thesis. I mean, some could say Taysom is a rich man's Jarrett Stidham in some respects, so I could see that. Take guys who hit because they're basically first-round picks. It's a good point by Zane. Really, that's how you could justify any construction, But in a home league, again, you just want to play closer to the median projection. So you want guys who, can play like second-round picks in a home league. You just want a lot of those guys. You want a team full of guys that could basically be second-round picks. Alec Pierce goes. Hate to see it. Alec Pierce and Taysom Hill look pretty similar. They go one after the other. Ah, man. I feel like at this point, Dawson Knox is just such a big value. When you got nothing going. But I also don't want to get sniped on Michael Mayer, given that he's Anthony Richardson's week 17 tight end, basically, with how I like to approach things. I am going to go Mayer over Knox. Let's see if we get Knox on the way back. And if we don't, doesn't matter. Does anything matter, really? Again, I would say it's the one forgotten part of best ball. For all the talk we've had about it, the nostalgic looks, the people who are new around here talking about their first summer. Your team doesn't fucking matter. Like what you build, as long as you got your QB with a couple of receivers, maybe a running back, maybe a tight end. As long as you got that, and then your team avoids injury, you might make it to the finals. If you make it to the finals, then you got to hit the nuts with one player, basically, maybe 2. And even still, if that player wasn't good in the regular season, doesn't matter. So like Mike Evans wasn't good in the regular season. He doesn't beat anybody because he doesn't get there at the end. That's That's best ball. You just got to build like okay teams. Just build a lot of okay teams and hope one of those turtles gets to shore. He knew it was coming. He knew there's always got to be the come down. But the good news is we are going to smoke this again in 1 minute, and then I'll be back and thriving. The thing is, they can't snipe me because I've already got 3 QBs. Could have had 4. Said no. Take Kenny Pickett. This is my my gift to you. Have Kenny Pickett for free. I just think it speaks to with best ball. Like it's again, I love the process of it, but like it really is just whatever happens, happens. Like you're, you know, you just got to be willing to let go. It's got to be willing to let go. All right, it's 419. Tried really hard not to burn my beard again for the views. There we go. We did it, guys. 420. Smoke it if you got it. I'm going to kill this. I'm going to make some final picks. I'm going to do some plugs. Going to be back on Saturday morning. Probably not doing this. But we will be closing out Spag Stacks on Saturday morning, barring BBM filling tomorrow. So pay attention, because if a time changes, if it looks like the tournament's going to fill, I might just fucking stream-a-thon it. But we do have plans. We do have family plans this weekend. So that's the tough part. We're going to do it. Oh, yeah. Now we're hitting it here down the home stretch. Okay. This is now just mostly Ash. But we'll still keep doing it. We'll keep doing it because I like the process. Okay, that's enough now. Now it's just getting in my mouth. All right. Last picks here. Well, one of my last picks here. All right. Let's get back in the mindset. Draft some football teams. Jerome Ford, again, no Nick Chubb. Jerome Ford, too cheap. Jerome Ford was going to go in the 120s if he had stayed healthy, and now he's back all the way down here. Back in practice, Jerome Ford, 17th round pick, I think rounds out this running back room pretty well. I'm going to read the team out loud for you guys as much as myself. Tua Tagovailoa, Alexander Madison, Jamal Williams, Cooper Kupp, Jalen Waddle, DK Metcalf, Michael Mayer, George Pickens, Tyler Lockett, Michael Pittman Jr., Anthony Richardson, Geno Smith, Devin Achane, Kenneth Gainwell, Jalen Hyatt, Gus Edwards, Jerome Ford. Guess could maybe take a Rams player late or two. That'd be okay. Giants tight end, maybe. Daniel Bellinger share. Puff pick. We've done it. All these drafts went by so fast, and I know that because like the time overall is looking pretty short for 3 drafts. That said, this draft feels like it has slowed down exponentially because of how foggy I'm getting. Like I read that team back and I was like, oh man, good picks. Good picks by this guy. Whoever did this. No time to roll, just packed it in a cigar. There you go. Cody, this was the final draft. I'm sorry. It timed out weirdly. This was the 3rd draft, not the final draft, though. We'll be back on DraftKings next week. But yes, I can't. If I try to do another draft right now, it would be even more gibberish. And I gotta go. I gotta go be a person. I gotta go outside of this room, this poorly ventilated room, filled to the brim with weed smoke. I need to go. I need to go back to my home planet. Poochie the dog has to leave and fly back. Die on the way home. Another thing that best ball's like, Poochie the dog. Think about it. It'll make sense. I think one more running back here would be pretty nice, just given how I really starved that position out. I see one that would be interesting on the board. You cannot be a person after this. The league, skim back like 1 minute and you'll get the answer to that, which was no, which is I can't. Really, the answer was more, I can't continue to exist in this way. The 8 hours last week broke a part of me that I'll never get back. Kyron Williams feels like a good time for a share of him, given that we've got Cooper Kupp, got Jalen Hyatt. So we're going to extend our bet for the Rams here. And then we could use 2 tight ends to close it out. 2 tight ends will probably be pretty dog shit, but we're going to get them. We're going to get those guys. Got AR5 on it. I got AR5 on it. That's the only time you get me singing soul is when it's when I've smoked a joint on a stream. And I continue to have to basket it. It's like, who let Cheech and Chong in here? Am I right? That's what we say. Also, if you're watching the video after the fact too, I'm going to put timestamps in, but check out the part where I shared my little Probably overlay stream thing. We'll be doing some content over on Probably too. Best bets of the day. Obviously going to be this same Spags energy. I'm not going to fucking change it when it's my company. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I'll obviously be promoting more there, but get on the waitlist, probablyapp.com, and don't be surprised when you get a link to the website this weekend, hopefully. And then either way, we go live before Thursday Night Football next week. So that'll be fun. Bob Tanya is the only answer. All right. I honestly haven't taken a single share of him, but I do feel like if you get boxed out on Cole Kmet and you just need 3 tight ends, Robert Tonyan with a Justin Fields build kind of makes some sense. That's where we are in the draft, guys. I apologize, but I do think that Bob Tonyan has some logic for it. Hey, you're welcome. You're welcome, Ben. Of course, while we're wrapping this up here, I guess, final pick, we'll do a formal outro. Please subscribe down below, hit the like button, leave a comment. Helps me out a bunch here. Helps me be empowered to be myself, to truly just be free here drafting teams. So please do that on the march to 3K subs. Of course, we appreciate every subscriber that we get right now. And check out these promos too. Underdog, promo code SPLASH for $100 deposit match. Drafters, $100 deposit match as well with the promo code SPLASH. Drafters is going to overlay very high probability of that, if not 100% certainty of it. So get in on Drafters. No playoff weeks there, 17 weeks of total points, and you can get in on that. And even if you have an account as well, you can use the promo code SPLASH100 for a 20% match up to $500. But use the promo code SPLASH if you're new, SPLASH100 if you're old and dusty, if you're washed up. Oh, of course you get the formalities, because anybody who has watched me stream for 2 hours and 25 minutes, that's when you're most likely to convert to anything. So that's the move. Get those pluggies out there. Terrace Marshall goes. Love to see that. Draft your Terrace Marshall with impunity. He's back. He's healthy. And DJ Chark is not healthy. It's a great run out for Terrace Marshall potentially. All right, we got 2 more picks here. I'm looking at the screen. Did Allen Robinson get drafted? No, okay. We got Allen Robinson. He's a player of the football variety. I guess I'm just going to time out because, all right, there we go. Never mind. 1 more pick left. Teams so far. Consider this your final reading, and then we'll hop off. We'll make 1 more pick, obviously. Tua Tagovailoa, Alexander Mattison, Jamal Williams, Cooper Kupp, Jalen Waddle, DK Metcalf, Michael Mayer, George Pickens, Tyler Lockett, Michael Pittman, Anthony Richardson, Geno Smith, Devin Achane, Kenneth Gainwell. Why did I take a wide receiver? I needed to take 2 tight ends. Oh, no. Okay, that was the first real weed brain moment. I meant to take 2 tight ends here. We'll take fucking Big Darnell Washington as my second tight end. Who cares? Cares. I'm hungry. I don't know why. Crazy that I'd be hungry at this point of the draft. Noah Fant, I guess, would also be okay. Just cue a couple guys. But this is a really, this is why tight end didn't occur to me, is because I don't want to draft a single one of these motherfuckers. I think that's the issue here. Yeah. I made a boo-boo. Thin tight end room. Does tight end really matter? Probably not. And again, if Michael Mayer hits, he's basically like a first round pick at tight end. If he really takes that leap that we're all expecting. Cole Turner's a smash. All right. Logan Thomas is almost playing again. Granted, Logan Thomas has a hard time playing, but I think Logan Thomas still the higher ceiling than Cole Turner. Cole Turner's best case is being like Durham Smythe level, where maybe they have 1-2 touchdown game here and there, which would be okay. But I do think Logan Thomas, if you're looking for like 8 for 80 in a game, I don't think that's in Cole Turner's bag. Thanks for the vibes, Spags. Please vlog your interaction with the mother-in-law after you leave the hot box room. I think I'm just going to stay down in the basement until I'm needed. I'm just going to hide away in my lair like a troll. Mayor TE1, if he hits, we're covered. If he hits, we're good to go. I think I got to take Fant over Washington, right? Assuming one of these guys doesn't take Fant. Clayton Tune getting drafted. Love to see it. Clayton Tune, not quite an Aiden O'Connell in this offseason. Oh, Bryson Hopkins. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to crush. But yeah, shout out to chat. Appreciate you guys hanging out here. Obviously, things have taken a turn at the end, but we survived. We got Noah Fant, final team here, which all those players I just read, plus Allen Robinson. And, fuck it. I can't not read the whole team. I feel like this is now my OCD kicking in. Team review: Tua Tagovailoa, Alexander Madison, Jamal Williams, Cooper Kupp, Jalen Waddle, DK Metcalf, Michael Mayer, George Pickens, Tyler Lockett, Michael Pittman, Anthony Richardson, Geno Smith, Devin Achane, Kenneth Gainwell, Jalen Hyatt, Gus Edwards, Jerome Ford, Kyron Williams, Allen Robinson, and Noah Fant. Interesting team. All these guys have roles. Probably going to use that third tight end. But we survived. Appreciate all you guys hanging out here. Thanks to the chat. Appreciate Meatwad here. Shout out to Spags. Shout out to all you guys, really and truly. You make this fun every single time, and I do appreciate that. Again, tomorrow, I'll be stepping aside so Pete can do his marathon stream. I don't want to siphon all those viewers away from Pete, but no, I'll be back Saturday morning closing out Spag Stacks, 10 a.m. East Coast start time, and we will draft my final 3 teams. Have to draft the Dolphins, the Bears, and the Eagles, I believe. So tune in on Saturday morning. And then I'm going to have my 150th draft somehow, I think, whenever I can pull that off this weekend, hopefully. And then next week, DraftKings and Drafters will run it back. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow the show at SplashPlayPod. And, of course, thanks to each and every one of you for hanging out. And probably app waitlist as well, probablyapp.com. Get on there. See you guys soon. Enjoy your next 2 days. Labor Day, right? Right? That's a thing. Enjoy your time, guys, and see you again soon. Good luck.